And I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. And I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. Fire in the veins, I fight to gain, breaking all the rules to keep me sane.
Evening everyone, how's it going? How are you all feeling? Dealing with lockdown once again. I know another week of lockdown, but the end is in sight if you've seen the recent news. But I hope you're all keeping well, keeping busy, keeping up your training as much as possible. And as always, a big thank you for joining me for the weekly English shooting live stream. Of course, if you've been following the live streams for a number of weeks, well, months even, because it's been a number of weeks we've been under lockdown, it's not just usually me in the office on my lonesome. I'm usually joined by my right-hand man, Mr. Connors from Magload, and we're normally in the Bluefield Sports gun room, but obviously we're practicing social distancing and don't think it's very appropriate at the moment for us to be sat next to each other on a live stream. So that will return at some point as soon as the lockdown enables. But for now, you're just stuck here with me. So as always, guys, there's the chat below, the chat box that you can put all of your questions and topics that you want to talk about. This is an opportunity to bring up any topics or discussions that you guys are interested in, any questions that you have about getting into the sport, about particular firearms. I try to answer all of the technical ones as best as possible, but sometimes I do have to defer, and I'm sure Connors, my gun guru, will be in the chat later on, so if there's nothing I can't answer, then he should be able to answer as well. Although saying that, I'm not completely alone this evening. Nala is already in her little spot on top of the shelves, fast asleep, but I'm sure she will make an appearance later. Good to see that Carl's joined the chat and the live stream again. Thank you very much, Carl. The first donation of the night. If you joined last week, you would have seen it got a little bit silly in terms of the donations, and I'll talk about that in a little bit because I managed to pick something up thanks to all those donations. But as I always say, any donations in the chat or otherwise all go into helping grow the channel, new equipment for the channel, just help it get bigger and better. And if you're not able to donate, if you don't want to donate but you want to help out the channel, just give this video a thumbs up. Seriously, it makes a big difference with the analytics. It helps put it out in front of new people. So please, if you're watching and you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that thumbs up button, and it's a real big help. So I've got a few topics that I've noted down that I wanted to cover tonight, but as always, I will start with your questions, and we will see where it leads. So I saw the first question I had from Wayne. Oh, another Carl, you're going to be very broke at this point, but very much appreciated. I might be able to buy some more goodies if it carries on like this. But yeah, a question from Wayne: best way to get into practical shotgun, NRA, UKPSA, or anyone else? I'm assuming that you're thinking about putting your new Nexus Pro to good use. So yeah, NRA or UKPSA, excuse me. So it can get quite political when you try to compare the NRA or the UKPSA, but I'll keep to the facts. At the end of the day, the UKPSA is the Great Britain franchise of the IPSC, which is the International Practical Shooting Confederation. IPSC has been awarded observer status from the Olympics. It is very much on the way to getting practical shooting within the Olympics. It's not a certain, but the biggest step I think has been taken. So it's internationally recognised. It's what all the world shoots, basically the World Cups of practical shooting, is run under, is IPSC, and the UKPSA is IPSC here within Great Britain. So I would say go to the UKPSA. They run a number of safety courses throughout the years. Obviously, there's no safety courses going on at the moment, but you can go and get signed off on your short arm or your short gun or your long gun. I believe the sort of safety courses are capped at £180 per person. Some places will do it cheaper, certainly if you have a group. So I know that obviously Bluefield Sports does all the courses that you can do and training as well, and they're all run by Connors. I'm not sure. I think he's qualified in shotguns, so you should be able to get your shotgun competency or basically your competition license, but he can definitely do long gun. It was Connors that did my most recent long gun and has done many on the circuit, and also the safety courses are a great way to get hands-on and trial it out, but you are running stages by the end of it. Usually they're 2 days, so it's 2 days. I usually no bigger groups than 6, so it's pretty well ratioed to the instructor. You'll go through all the basic techniques and sort of shooting positions and safety, blah blah blah, and then you get on to running some stages, running parts of stages. So that's a really good introduction. And of course, alongside that at Bluefield Sports, they do these sort of tailored taster sessions or training sessions. So if you literally want to come here with a Section 2 shotgun, well, there's Section 2s that can be used here, you can just go out and get a feel for it. The NRA, I have to be completely honest, where they're not the national governing body for the, for practical side of things, target rifle, yeah, practical, no. Their courses, I believe, are a lot more expensive. I've heard figures of anywhere between sort of £300 or £400 in some cases. So I definitely think the UKPSA is the way to go. You get your safety certificate, your competition license, and then you are good to shoot internationally as well under IPSC. So it really is the gateway to sort of serious top level competition. But yeah, I would just sign yourself onto the next available UKPSA safety course and get that competition license, and then you're set. So Carl, talking about lead-free ammunition in the 1522. So hi Carl, thanks again for joining. Carl is one of the moderators here, if you didn't know, so if you do step out of line, then he should hopefully put you in place. But we've run a number of different rounds through the 1522. I know I certainly have over the years. To be honest, there's nothing that I've found that doesn't run in it. I mean, running sort of stuff like subsonics is always a bit silly in a semi-auto, but it will run them. I know, or I believe, CCI do a copper round as their lead-free alternative. Like CCI plus a 1522, it's gonna run. Like I can pretty much guarantee it. Apart from that, I'm not too sure. Funny enough, on the topic of lead-free ammunition, I started going down a little bit of a path the other day. I found these blue training rounds from Germany, and they're plastic. I think the whole thing, well, there's no brass, but the case is plastic, and also the bullet is plastic as well. But they use them as a low-cost alternative to traditional live rounds. Unfortunately, there's nowhere online that seems to sell them, so it would be good to get those in and try them. I mean, for practical shooting, certainly like mini rifle, as long as you're not going out to sort of longer distances with the mini rifle. If you're shooting at sort of 25 yard, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference, I don't think. And if it's cheaper, it's lead free, although it's plastic, so you're putting a load of plastic into the ground. Hopefully it's biodegradable. But yeah, it's just, I'd never seen anything like it. I don't know if any of you guys know any more about it. There's a fair amount online, but yeah, these blue, I think if you type into Google blue German training ammunition, it will come up, and it's pretty distinctive. I've got a question from Callum Siddle. Nice name. All the best people are called Callum, absolutely. So found your channel yesterday and love it. Glad to hear you're enjoying it as well. I'm thinking of joining a shooting club after lockdown and applying for my FAC. I'm 19 and live alone in my own house. Do you know if age is an issue? Not at 19. I mean, there's different levels from the age of, I think it's about 11 or 12, and there's certain restrictions as you go up between sort of the age of 11 up to the age of 18. But at 19, there's going to be absolutely no issues. You're an adult. You're free to do what you want. You're old enough to go and buy firearms with the license, so it can get a little bit tricky. I think sort of the funny age is around 15, 16. I always revert to there's actually a fairly good page, we used to be on Hampshire Firearms, that actually broke down all of the things that you could and couldn't do at certain ages. But like 14, 15 was a funny age because you could get an FAC, you could be given a gun, but you couldn't buy a gun. And normally what happens is that the kid has gone and got their FAC at 14, and it does happen. And a number of people that have got FACs at that age, and then they don't have anybody, well, they don't know anyone over the age of 18 with an FAC to go and buy the gun. So it's like they might have a parent that's over the age of 18 and technically is old enough to buy the gun but doesn't have the license, but because the kid's there and they have an FAC and it can get signed onto it, it gets really, really complicated. But no, at 19, I mean, they may touch on it. They may say that, you know, that's compared, I guess, to the average age of FAC holders, that's probably going to be on the low side. But it's about your character, it's about your background. So as long as you show maturity during the interview, as long as you're not messing about with them, and you're very sensible, and they see that, then they're not going to have a problem. Again, I know people that have got FACs at 14, 15, 16, that sort of age. So 19 should absolutely not be an issue. Living in your own place as well, alone, that's always a plus. It's not necessarily the case that if you were living with other people it wouldn't be an issue, but it does always bring it into the conversation, because then they need to know who's in the household, who has sort of first access to the safe, let's say, because obviously you're not going to give the keys out to any housemates. But yeah, I don't, Callum, I don't think you're going to have any issues. If there's anything that pops up, please feel free to drop me an email at EnglishShooting@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to help you. And yeah, best of luck. Join a club, become a full member, and get that application in as soon as possible. The NRA's update today from Wayne. I haven't actually seen the NRA's update. I assume it's on coronavirus. I did see that Basque have put forward to the government, basically, don't forget about shooting sports when the lockdown starts to get lifted. There were talks about allowing football matches, and it's basically like, well, if you're going to allow football matches, make sure you include shooting as well, because shooting is in most cases a lot more isolated, or in a lot smaller groups, or there is natural separation because people are shooting. But no, I haven't seen the NRA's update. If you want to, why don't I just, I've got Facebook here, I'm on my computer, I'll have a look. Let's see, NRA. To be honest, I don't give a huge keep a huge eye on the NRA. I have my differences with them, and we'll just leave it at that. But of course, they are the national governing body for the majority of the sports that we do, or disciplines that we do. Here we go. Coronavirus update on the 30th. Oh no, it's loading another page. That's helpful. The government wrestles with the difficulties of deciding when NRA staff been in. Okay, so it looks very similar to what Basque have basically said, is, don't forget about us. But it sounds like they're doing a lot of preparation and making a lot. Again, I'm just like quickly skim reading this because I'm not exactly the fastest reader in the world. I'm sure you don't want to all sit here and watch me read for the next half an hour. But yeah, okay, so it sounds like they're pushing for stuff to be open, and basically putting in provisions so that it's still safe and no one's going to be at risk. So that's good to hear. Again, if there was another point to that you wanted to bring up, just put it in below, Wayne. Carl M, can we use the large caliber long barreled revolvers for practical shooting, or just long range target shooting? There are a number of people that run long barreled revolvers within competitions. To be honest, I may be completely wrong with this, but I haven't seen one I haven't attended a long barreled pistol match run by the UKPSA. And I don't know if they do revolver. I don't know if they have the revolver division within the UK. I know and have definitely seen revolvers used down at the NRA handgun leagues, but it's certainly worth messaging both of them. But yeah, they are used either just by the NRA or both the UKPSA and NRA. So yeah, you can use them. I know somebody that runs a long-barreled revolver here, somebody called Tim Gardner, and he runs Firing Solution. He's I've spoken about him on the channel before because he's sponsored by Reload Swiss or Swiss Reload. I can never remember which way it is, but he's a serious revolver shooter, serious pistol shoot or handgun shooter in general. But yeah, it does go on here. There are certain divisions, there are certain competitions for them, so you can run that revolver. I have seen somebody run an airsoft revolver during the Airsoft Surgeon at the British Shooting Show. That was a novelty. I think he was the only person running an airsoft revolver, because they are horrendously unreliable from what we saw and have heard. But yeah, I mean, most matches and the people that run matches, if you do want, even if you don't want to run it for a score and you just want to run the competition with your own revolver, most matches are going to be accommodating. So even if there isn't a revolver division, they might just put you in standard division under pistol. Like, you're not going to stand a chance, but at least you can run it, you can score yourself and sort of get the experience. So there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to run that in other matches. I've just seen my mum's turned up. Hi mum, thanks for joining, #1 fan. So Daniel Smerald. So hi Daniel, how's it going? Daniel's a good friend of mine, as I'm sure you all know. Gets me into a lot of trouble in the things that he starts and says online, and he'll know more about that than probably you guys. I do have to mention, Daniel, before I answer your question, Daniel has been very kindly sending down various bits and pieces for me to review on the channel. So a lot of the sort of product reviews recently are thanks to him. We've got the rail scale video that's coming out soon. So rail covers for M-Lock forends. He sent down some of the Slate Black Industries or Black Slate Industries and some rail scales. I've shown them on the live stream before as well, but the video's been filmed for that, and that will be going out shortly. So a big thank you to Daniel for sending that down. Of course, the Chris video we did, which Daniel was actually in, he brought his Chris down and we got to have a play with that. He's also sending down a load of triggers. So we are planning on doing a trigger comparison for the 1522. So we've got obviously the standard trigger, a sort of upgraded standard trigger that's had a little bit of work done, some spring upgrades in it. We've got a CMC, we've got the AR Gold, and Daniel is sending us a Geisley and a JM. And I might also be able to get hold of a Hyperfire. And I'm also going to drop Black Rifle a message, because they've actually got a 1522 dedicated trigger. So that should be quite an interesting video. It's going to take forever to fit everything in and take it out of the guns, but we're going to get it done. So it's going to be like a 5 or 6 trigger review side by side. We're going to do sort of accuracy tests with it, see how that affects it, speed tests and everything like that. So that should be it's going to be incredibly difficult to film, incredibly difficult to edit, but it should be a bloody good video. And again, that's thanks to Daniel for sending that stuff down. But more interestingly, so despite my love for Vortex, I've not yet really got hands-on with their AMG UH1, I believe it is, their holographic, basically EOTech replacement. And Daniel had been running that for a little while. We do have one of the AMGs in the gun room, I believe, but he's just switched over to the dark side, down to Trijicon. He's gone for the Trijicon MRO, and again, brilliant, super bloke, sending it down to me for me to get my grubby little paws on. And we're going to put the UH1 and the MRO side by side together, and I'm sort of going to review them both individually, but also compare them to each other. I know, doing a bit of searching on the internet, it seems to be a pretty popular question, comparing the two of them. So I'm interested myself, because again, I've not really got hands on with either of them, but should make again for an interesting video. But that's all down to Daniel. But yeah, back to your original question, Daniel. Best quick detached moderators for a 2.2. Do I've completely as far as I'm aware, I've never seen a 2.2 dedicated moderator, for a quick detached 2.2 moderator. Maybe if you have one, Daniel, or you know of some, you can let me know. I mean, we talked, I think it was last week, we discussed moderators a little bit. So I've had the SAK, the ATAC, and I've used the Wildcat moderators a few times. I highly recommend the Wildcats. The ATAC's a good moderator. The SAK are built for a price of their 30 quid, so you can't expect wonders out of them, but the Wildcats are absolutely incredible bits of engineering. The design's lovely, the fit and finish of them, and also they're incredibly easy to clean as well. I don't know maybe about their 2.2 mods, but I know certainly for the larger calibers, they're all interchangeable. So you don't need to go and buy a new mod every time for a different caliber, or even a new thread. So, you know, say you've got a mod on a 1522, and then you swap it out to a Ruger. I think the Ruger has the UNF, and the 1522 has the UNEF thread. Well, instead of binning the whole mod, you just buy a separate adapter. Well, not a separate adapter, you buy a separate, the internal adapter, so it's not an addition but something that replaces an internal part, and you can just whack it straight on. So really smart design. Highly recommend those. But in terms of quick detach, I don't believe Wildcat do quick detach, and again, I haven't seen of a dedicated 2.2 quick detach moderator. I believe you've got one on your Desert Tech, Daniel. I think you've shown me that before, unless I'm just imagining that. So somebody asking about NHTSA. I always like talking about NHTSA because NHTSA is a fantastic facility, and again, luckily as UKPSA members you have access to it, which is absolutely brilliant. So do you need any courses before you go? No, I don't believe. Oh no, here we go. I'm gonna make a boo-boo here. You certainly don't need like a full safety course in handgun. You might actually need the Action Air course, but again, I don't think so. It depends on who's going and what level of instructor. I know that, like, once you have your full shotgun competition license, you can go out there on your own, I believe, or at least in twos, and go and rent the guns because you've been certified safe, you're trusted. I believe you can go out there with absolutely nothing. However, I would advise going and getting an Action Air competition license first, because then when you go over to NHTSA you can upgrade it to the full handgun safety course and competition license. So instead of having to go back out there each time, or if it's your first time and you're going and doing a safety course, then that's obviously perfect. But you can do a lot of it here and sort of maximize your time out in NHTSA rather than just doing your time out there just a full course. If you do the Action Air course first, you can the upgrade course, or the add-on, can be done in about half a day. So we were able to do the sort of upgrade course, and we were still able to get, well, probably an hour to 2 hours shooting plus, and I was doing filming as well, so you can probably do 3 or 4 hours shooting on top of that. But yeah, I don't believe, from memory, I don't believe you need any previous qualifications or assessments or sign-offs, as long as you're a UKPSA member, and as long as, if you don't have any competition licenses or safety course certificates, as long as there is somebody of a significant level within, instructor level, they will be able to supervise you, and it should be absolutely fine. So got Nick from the World Gun Owners Association. Thanks for joining. How long does a competition license last before renewal? So again, I really wish maybe Connors is already in here and he's answering all the questions below, but if Connors is in here, he might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that the competition license expires as long as you continue to use it. So where I fell down on was I did my original long gun course, and then I didn't join the UKPSA within 6 months, I believe the cutoff is. So it basically expired. So you need to be a member of the UKPSA within 6 months of completing the course, otherwise it gets null and void. And I believe you need to shoot a match with it within the first 2 years, and then that sort of cements it. I think you might have to do a match, at least one match every 2 years, and if you don't, it may expire, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, as long as you're a member of the UKPSA and you do your safety course, you've got it for a minimum of 2 years, basically. So I got Arius from Mochaccino. The ammunition you found in Germany may have been their less than lethal ammunition, plastic tips, self-defense ammo used to negate penetration on house materials. It was advertised, so if you're just joining the stream, we were talking about this German blue training ammunition, and it was very much marketed as training ammo, not used in a sort of household defense environment. It was very much, mass produced. Obviously plastic's going to be cheaper than, oh, we got Nala, she probably wants to go out, or open the window for her. Yeah, obviously plastic is going to be a lot cheaper than brass, so I think it's literally just to save money on the ammunition costs. Also, though, they said that they did have issues with it running in semi-automatic and full auto guns, so it was designed, I think, more for bolt action guns. But yeah, I know very little about the ammunition. I would love to get my hands on some, if anyone knows where to get it, just to try it out. But yeah, apart from that, that's all I know about the ammunition. So yeah, there goes Nala. Up and away. So Yule George talking about UKPSA safety courses. So yes, you have a certain amount of time to compete in a level 3. So I didn't know if it was actually a level 3 competition you had to go and compete in. I thought it was just a sort of registered competition, but I might be incorrect there. So under the current circumstances, do you think they will extend this time limit? I believe they will. I mean, everyone else is extending everything in terms of MOTs and sort of other deadlines as well. I don't know what the official response has been from the UKPSA yet, but they I'm sure they'll be obliging. If you're out by a month or two with what's happened, then I'm sure they will let it slide. Oh yes, so Steve saying that you only need to do a level 1 license. So again, if Connors was here, he would definitely be able to. He knows all of this stuff like the back of his hand. So interestingly, Carl Volt saying that Norway upped the group size limit to 50 today, and social distancing to 1 meter, might start up level 2 matches and safety courses again. That's brilliant. Really good news for me. Let's shut the window and we're subdue the road noise. So I don't know if I've talked about it on the channel or any of the streams yet, but we're actually booked to go over to Denmark the end of June, beginning of July, and that's to cover a rifle match out there. Yeah, I think we've talked about it on the stream before, so I'm certainly very interested in that part of the world at the moment, because we want to know if we're going to be able to go, and we were discussing it, that it looks very likely that area of the world is going to sort of be ready, fingers crossed. You're talking another 2 months away and they're already sort of getting back to normal, as you're saying, Carl. The issue for us is getting there. Obviously getting out of the UK, getting across all of the countries, and there's sort of 2 aspects to it. There's our personal concern, which is it going to be wise to go and do that? Maybe in 2 months' time everything's going to be very much different, but also, so there, our own personal fears and objections, but the actual technicalities of it, under the lockdown rules as they are at the moment, would it be permitted to go and do it? Now, we're thinking, well, it is for work. It is we're being paid to go out there and do it. so it's part of our business, it's part of, you know, our employment, as to say. So it's essential for us to go and do that if the match is on and they've booked us to go out. So, but I don't know, it's 2 months away. I really hope it does happen, because where I was focusing so much on Gunroom TV for the rifle worlds, I really didn't do anywhere near as much sort of videos for you guys while I was out there. And I'm really hoping that going out to Denmark and covering this rifle match, we'll be able to do a lot more content on this channel, as well as Gunroom TV. So you should be able to see everything, and worst case, if not, you just have to go over to Gunroom TV. And that's it. I know we've been talking a lot about practical shooting today. If you are interested in going and seeing the sort of top level of practical shooting in the world, head over to Gunroom TV on the UKPSA page. We don't have any, well, we've got loads of level 3 shotgun matches from here in the UK, so you can see certainly what the best of the UK has to offer in terms of practical shotgun. But then there's also the Rifle World Shoot over there, under the UKPSA page, and you know, it's like a 5-day coverage of the full event. And then there's the European Handgun Championship, which I believe was a level 4 match, so not a world shoot, but serious top level competition. Some big names there. So there was, you know, Ben Stoger and Mark Ruffell. Just, you could string off. I mean, we got to meet Jerry Michalak at the Rifle World Shoot. So, you know, some of the most famous shooters at the world, in the world, goes to these events. And if you want to learn more about them, head over to Gunroom TV and you can watch the full coverage of those events. Anyway, back on to your questions. So Stephen Wolf, I did get your WhatsApp. I haven't had a chance to reply yet, but thanks for joining, and of course thanks for last week. Yes, Arius, it was Alex Cox. I got some footage of him. Actually, I think, again, I'm losing track of what's been released or what hasn't been released, but there are some videos coming out of the Airsoft Surgeon match. Some interviews with Chris Kong and Clarence Lai, I believe his name is, and also a general overview of the match. So again, if you're interested in Action Air, go and check that out. But I think also in the English Shooting highlights of the British Shooting Show and the Gunroom TV highlights of the British Shooting Show, there were various clips of the Airsoft Surgeon match, and I had to include Alex in both of those because, well, he was running a revolver in an Action Air match, and I thought it was something a bit different. So how about a trigger comparison on the 1022? I mean, that would be I think an awesome video, certainly a very popular video. That's, you know, one of the big things that people like to upgrade on the 1022, and also a very popular gun. The only reason I'm going for the 1522 on that trigger comparison is that they're AR triggers, and I know a lot about the 1522. I should really pick up a 1022 once my license situation is resolved, but yeah, the 1522 I know inside and out. I've used the standard trigger for a long time. I've used the CMC trigger for probably about 6 months to a year now. Ended up switching it back to the original, but that will be included in the video why. And I've also, you know, had a lot of experience of the AR Gold in the 1522 on Connors's gun, so it just makes more sense for me to base it around the 1522. But if someone wants to send me a load of 1022 triggers to try out, we do have a 1022 here. If you want to send me stuff to review, I'm always happy to do it. And no, I don't mean so I can keep all these nice triggers. I never expect to keep anything. I mean, Daniel, if you do want to leave your MRO with me, then maybe you know, I'll be happy to oblige. But yeah, if you guys have something and you want to get my thoughts or a comparison against something else that I have here, then you're always more than welcome to send me stuff. I'm always looking for content. I'm always looking for products as well. I know it's a little different now. When I first started the channel, I basically had to go and buy everything myself to get something to review. Luckily, I've got a gun shop full of various bits, and with the channel being a lot bigger, obviously, than when I first started it, people are a lot happier to send stuff down now. But again, you guys want to send something down for review, I'll happily review it or compare it. Mochaccino 2.2 moderator coming soon from Magload. Please no, please don't give Connors any more ideas. We actually had a little bit of an incident today, so I won't go into the specifics because it's a process that I know Connors doesn't want being put out there. But we had a bit of a leak in next door where a lot of the stuff is processed and also packed and stored, and I was sat here in the office and the lights went off. I'm thinking, that's odd, so try and flick the breaker switch and it's not going off. Go next door, and there was this flood all over the packing bench. Luckily, no orders ready to go out sat on it or anything packed on there, but it was just absolutely flooded. And needless to say, one of the bits of equipment, and again I won't go into details, but one of the bits of equipment that we use had catastrophically failed and blown the fuses and everything. So that was most of my day cleaning that up, but all's good. We actually got away with it fairly lightly, apart from the cleanup. Nothing was damaged, no products got wet or anything like that, which was our main concern. So it's always the funs of making things and in a production environment, things go wrong. But yeah, funny enough, we thought it was something in here at first, but there's various contraptions running here that could easily trip something. But yeah, anyway, no more ideas for Connors. I'm sure moderators will someday be on the cards. We're currently in the process of revamping a couple of big bits of machinery. I think if you look through some of the mag vlogs, so over on Magload's YouTube channel, Connors has done some videos down in the barn, and they might be in the background. We might even talk about them in the video, but we've got a turning centre and a CNC mill, and we're currently getting those up to scratch with all the downtime at the moment down in another sort of facility that we have here. And once we've got that lathe and mill running, really the possibilities are endless, and I can see Connor's mind already coming up with these sick and twisted ideas of what he's going to do on that. But there's already a load of products that have nearly gone into production, but it's like with anything sort of CNC and manufacturing, you need to make the initial volume so large to make it cost effective, and it's in the middle of a pandemic, you don't really want to be outlaying serious amounts of money on new product ideas or stuff like that. So if we do manage to get these machines up and running before the end of the lockdown, then you could probably see a lot more, let's say, metal components coming from Magload very soon, which will be very, very interesting. Of course, I can't talk about Magload at this point in time and not talk about the new Pro loader, the new Nexus Pro that is being released. So it's available now to pre-order, but its full launch is on the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. And if you haven't seen about the new Pro loader, there is a review. I've been lucky enough to sort of get hands on with it and film with it, so there will be a review coming out on the channel here in the next couple of days, going into a bit more detail. There's also a couple of videos again on the Magload YouTube channel, and Connors goes into depth. There's a really sort of action-packed promo video, but also one where sort of Connors sits down and really talks about the ins and outs of the loader. So if you are looking at getting into practical shotgun or upgrading a caddy, obviously I'm going to recommend Magload, but genuinely we believe it is the best loader out there on the market, or certainly will be when it's fully launched. So enough plugging, but you've got to pay the bills and all that. So Daniel says that Wildcat are looking into a detachable 2.2 mod, so that would be awesome. Hopefully Ellison will kindly send us one down to test and review. That would be awesome. Oh, it does this. So I've got this chat window, and I've talked about it before, but every now and then it like shoots off into oblivion. I lose where I was, which is really not helpful. Yeah. Again, Arias talking about NHTSA. Yeah, it's always best to first get in contact with the UKPSA, but then it is technically a separate club, a separate entity to the UKPSA, so you do need to check with NHTSA themselves. It's I believe it's Jim that runs it. Fantastic guy. He's fully behind everything that the UKPSA is doing, and he's all about getting people over from the mainland to sort of try handgun shooting and try real handguns. Obviously, you know what the laws are like here. So we've got Paul from Point Blank Simulator. Again, another video. We've been busy. Another video that's in the pipeline. Of course, we talked about it again last week about this laser training simulator from Point Blank Simulator, and a thumbs up for NHTSA from Paul as well. So thoughts on the HoloSun red dots / micro dots. Just bought one to put on my 1522 along with magload bits. Cool. Well, enjoy the magload bits. So have you already got them, or are you waiting? Your order might have caused the spillage that happened, so there might be a day's delay on that, but if you've already got them, I hope you're enjoying them. So HoloSun. So well, it's funny enough because I've seen Daniel saying that he rates HoloSun. Again, I don't have a huge amount of experience, but actually during doing a little bit of research about the Trijicon, and Daniel's going to hate me for saying this, I found that the general consensus was that the HoloSun were better than the Trijicon MROs. So Daniel's probably going to passionately disagree with me on that one, but yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on them. I haven't got hands on with them, to be honest. I'm fairly stuck in my ways with Vortex, although I'm always interested in trying new stuff. So we'll if I get hold of one, I'll make a video on it and I can give my opinion on it. Seems good from looking around outside, but I wish I had Trijicon money. See, don't think that just because you pay lots of money for something that it's necessarily better. I mean, like, look at Daniel's guns. He's gonna hate me now, but yeah, I mean, it's horses for courses. I made that video about can cheap guns be good, and it's on the same line. Just because something costs 2 or 3 times, versus something else, yes, that is usually an indicator that it's going to be better, maybe better built, better warranty, but more features. But it's not always the case. There's lots of things that just spending a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a better product. And also it depends what you're after. Usually when you're spending a lot of money on scopes, it might be for features that you don't actually have any interest or any requirement for. So it's a case of find what you want, go and try it yourself, get hands on with it and make your own mind up. Just because you have people like Daniel Smerald that have more money than sense and changes optics probably more than he changes underwear, you don't need to take that as an example. It would be a very, very bad example to take. But yeah, I've done a little bit of shooting with Trijicon stuff. Overall, I've always been impressed with them. I mean, they're military issue, standard issue for a lot of rifles, and it's strong, indestructible, bulletproof stuff, excuse the pun. So I'm looking forward to getting hands on with the MRO and really putting it through its paces. I'll try not to try not to damage it, Daniel, for you. Have I fired a Lee Enfield? Of course, I'm British. Why wouldn't I have fired an Enfield? But yeah, I have done it. So probably the most shooting I ever did with an Enfield was down. It was at Garland's when I went up and did a video with Rack and Load. My friend Alex Florence, he had his Enfield there, and we were switching and changing. I had the Mosin at the time, and we were switching in between each other. That's probably the most time I've got hands on with one. But there was one with almost the smoothbore barrel, and it was a club gun when I was at university. I think that was the first time I shot an Enfield, and that was at Bisley I think we were on the 1,000-yard mark. I can't remember if we hit anything, but it was just one of those things to say, oh, you've shot an Enfield, so you know, we did it. Again, even if I'm not going to hit the target, I'm not going to turn down the chance to shoot a gun. I need a Pepsi top up. Yes, there is a Pepsi portal here. Look, I can just pull can after can out of there if I want. So did you manage to upload that video of you shooting a full auto MP5? Yeah, I think I said in the video of shooting the 500 Smith & Wesson that I was going to put up the video of the MP5. If it's not on the channel, then probably no. Funny enough, that those videos actually caused me a bit of issue. I don't know really what's appropriate to say, but I was out there when I was filming those videos. It was out there in Utah, and I was out there for work, and my work was sort of fairly sensitive, and one of our customers, let's just say, actually went to the range with me, and he pops up in the video for like a few seconds. It didn't go down very well. I mean, the guy acted a little bit surprised and was like, oh, I didn't know that was going to go out online. And I was like, the whole drive there, I told you what I did, why I wanted to go to a range, why I'm filming it. And when someone goes to a range and pulls out their camera for slow-mo, a DSLR and a GoPro, you're probably realizing that some of this footage is going to go public. But, you know, ultimately he didn't want his face put out there. So what I ended up doing is snipping the video. So even if you go and watch the 500 Smith & Wesson video now, there is a cut in it. I don't think it's noticeable, but literally it was like 2 seconds of footage that I just snipped out of the video, and everything was okay. And I think because of that, I decided that might have been the reason that I decided not to put any footage up of the MP5. I will probably have it somewhere on the archives, and if you really want to, it will be a really short little video, because I think I only got one 30-round magazine. Oh, that's also, I think, part of the reason I didn't do the video in the end, is because I cheaped out and only did one 30-round magazine, and it jammed twice during that 30-round magazine. There wasn't that much footage, but I'm sure, well, if out in Kentucky in October, I'm pretty sure there'll be a chance to shoot an MP5 out there, so I can sort of, let's say, remake that video if you're interested in me sort of going through the whole MP5. It's my favourite machine gun. Well, it was the first full auto I ever fired, and I just love it. It's such a cool gun, and of course it's in Die Hard, and it's like my favourite movie ever, so it's all win-win for me. But yeah, that's sort of why I don't think the video ever really went out. The thing is, there's actually a lot of stuff that will get binned for various reasons, time or importance. You know, sometimes I film a video, and then after watching it, I just think it's trash. You probably think all the videos are trash, or maybe not because you're sat here listening to me. But yeah, it's not. Usually, if things pop up, don't they? Things happen, and not everything always goes to plan. So, what loads and shot size are common in practical shotgun? That really is something I should know. I just usually take what's given to me. I mean, a good baseline would be looking at Alpha Elite, which conveniently I happen to have a box here. So let's see. So this is Ely Hawks. Oh, great! So this is, if you saw the video, I made a load of blanks. That's actually a live one. So this is a 28 gram 7.5. So if you guys don't know, if you haven't seen about it, Ely Hawk have released their practical focused ammunition, and it's called their Alpha Elite. It has been heavily developed by top level practical shooters within the UK, so people that go and actually use this in competition and know what's up, and also Connor's had quite a big part in working with Ely, mainly to just make sure that someone finally brought out a practical focused round or cartridge. So yes, what did I say? 28 gram, 7.5. I mean, if you're running, well, we've run it through all sorts of guns. Obviously, pump guns don't have an issue with it, but we've run it through the M2, the Stoger. I've seen it through a 1301. I've seen it through Dissident Arms, and it runs absolutely all of them, even at 28 grams. I mean, some of the open shooters, the box fed shooters, will swear that you don't even think about going lower than a 30, and most won't go lower than a 32. And I certainly, when I was running the Beretta 1301, I was constantly running 32 grams. I felt that if you went lower, the reliability wasn't as good, and the 32 gram cartridge that I put into it just ran flawlessly with, so I never changed. But yeah, 28 grams, which some people might say is a little light, but we've seen really, really good reliability with it, and these are incredibly consistent. We put, I think it was a Game Ball cartridge side by side with it, and the Game Ball cartridge velocity there was quite a margin. This I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was like impressively close and impressively consistent. Really clean lead as well. We've opened a number of these. Well, I certainly have. My finger, I've got like some nerve damage in my finger from trying to make these into blanks. But yeah, well, that one's gone. Didn't want that one anyway. Anyway, back to the box. Moving on swiftly. Yeah, basically it's it's endorsed as well by the UKPSA. So what more can I say? It is the practical round. Obviously, until the full competition season is in swing, we won't get a true measure of it. But all the people that have tried it really, really like it, and it's yeah. I think it could soon become the most popular round out there on the circuit. So yeah, that's a long answer to your very short question, like I normally do. But let's see what you guys have been talking about. So got yeah, just to confirm, Stephen, that yeah, same number. I got your message, don't worry. Carl, when do we get Gunroom TV coverage of the Finnish brutality? When you pay us. That's you know, you want to cover the cost of us going out there and filming something. We're happily, like, we're all game for filming stuff. We just got to be able to pay the bills as well. Maybe we could well, it depends when it is. Who knows, we might be able to sort something out. What's my view on bow hunting being illegal in the UK? Again, guys, you're going to know I'm not a huge hunter. I've certainly done more over the last couple of years, but it's not something that I would say I have an educated or necessarily informed opinion on. You know, I'm very much admit I'm not clued up on it, but for me, my biggest reservation with hunting has been and sort of still is about it being humane, and it still does bother me to some degree. You know, when you're out there in the field and you go for a bird and you don't get it, you know, there are times, even if you're the best shot in the world, there are going to be times where you don't kill the bird outright and it comes down and starts flapping about, and that's sort of what I'd be more worried about with, not for obviously birds with bows, but is I'm there's no doubt in my mind that a bow can deliver the energy required. You know, some bows can be incredibly powerful, but it's just the other variables that I think you're putting in there. With a gun, it's so much more, let's just say, fit for purpose, or it's a modern equivalent, and it's modern for a number of benefits. So I don't really mind what people go and do out in hunting. I don't really care what the laws are in a sense. You know, obviously I do care, but it doesn't bother me a huge amount, as long as it's humane. As long as you can provide that people are going to be humane out there, or as humane with a rifle as, you know, as compared to a bow, that would be my only sort of reservation. In terms of it being illegal, again, you know, I know it's, you know, it's the thing that I absolutely hate, or it's not my sport, or it's not something I'm interested in, so just leave it alone. But it certainly doesn't bother me personally that it's illegal and that you can't do it. I am sure there are a number of people out there that would love to go and do it, and I would need to go and do more research and understand it better to really give an informed opinion whether I think it should be illegal or legal. Having said that, if someone could demonstrate that it is completely humane, it doesn't give any sort of more risk to maiming animals, or not killing them humanely, then I wouldn't be against it. So I think that's sort of the best answer I can give to that. I don't know the USA export laws and firearm components. They seem a lot of bother. Yeah, basically getting a gun in and out, apart from Europe, funny enough, although obviously Europe isn't a country in itself, but flying with a gun, like, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. That's actually another video I've got planned. Someone asked about a travel video. So what do you do when you're traveling, or you know, taking a gun abroad? It is an absolute ball ache, and it's a ball ache when you're with your own gun, taking it out there and coming back. Import and export is just an absolute you know, another level. You need all sorts of licenses. I believe you need like an export or import license like every time you do it, and it's like £1,000 minimum or something ridiculous. Oh, so again, thank you. I can't remember who it was, but thank you who said to put a reminder of the NHS clap on my phone. So obviously in 3 minutes, if you're in the UK, please go out and give the NHS a big clap for all their frontline working, and I'll give my little clap here. Again, I'm in the middle of nowhere, so it's not really going to make a huge difference if I stand outside or not, so I just do it here. So and you know, give a big huge prop to Colonel Tom Moore, who's raised something silly like over £30 million for various charities or the NHS. So absolute top guy, and I believe it's his 100th birthday today, so absolute legend. But yeah, import export, it's a really sort of long drawn out process, and the best example I have of it, there was somebody that I know that bought a Dissident arms. Now you can either go to Dissident and have everything sort of spec'd up and bought directly by them, and they send it over here to the UK, or you get your own gun and sort of do everything manually. Or sorry, you can go to Dissident, have a complete gun purchased, and then get someone to import it, and you're looking about £5,000 to £6,000. Or the absolute cheapest bare bone way of doing it with Dissident arm is you go and find a base gun, give it to them, they upgrade it, and then you take care of the import and export. Now, the person I know that did this themselves, they said that all in all it cost about £4,500, so they ended up saving a serious amount of money, £1,000 to £1,500. When I asked if it was worth it, he said absolutely not. If someone had given him the option to go back in time and pay the full like £6,000 for somebody else to deal with it, he would have. It's usually it's a lot of effort, unless you're bringing in a number of components or a number of a number of guns or components. It really doesn't make it economical, and of course you get charged instantly with everything with VAT, so you can add 20% onto all the other costs combined. So yeah, it's a nightmare. It's best to, if there really is something that you really want to get, then it's best to find somebody that specializes in import and export. They will give you a figure. It will probably make you cry, but they will take care of it, and that's probably the easiest option, if I'm going to be honest. So Dan's saying that he's basically said I can keep the MRO. So thank you very much, Daniel. I'll treat it kindly and think of you every time I shoot with it. I've had your rail scales for months now. You sent these ages ago. What's the date stamp? No date stamp. So just a quick one. It is 8 o'clock, so just going to give the NHS a big, huge round of applause and all of our frontline workers, everyone that's out there protecting us, keeping us safe, and keeping this country going in probably one of the worst times, certainly, that I've been alive. So a big round of applause to them. Please do go out, clap them from your doorsteps. Obviously, I'm running the stream, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, so it's just only going to be my lonesome that hears it. So, what is that printer? What are you talking about, Aris? Are you talking about... Wait, where is it? Is it that one? I can never get the right angle. The one behind me? Or is it something else you're talking about? If it's that one, that's an ANET A5 or ANET A7, I think it is. It's a standard squirty hot plastic. I mean, you've got the reel here. So you get I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. There we go. So you've got this reel of plastic. Yeah, I think that would do. It obviously squirts it into this bit here. Well, this is what they call the hot end and extruder. So it pulls the plastic into that mechanism right there. Heats it up, and then as it's extruding it heats it up, I think, to around sort of 200 degrees around that point, and then squirts it out and then builds up layers, and that's FDM printing. I do also have an SLA printer, which was actually in a lot of my videos for a period of time. So it's got an orange case, and that uses resin. But anyway, if you guys want to talk more about 3D printers, I'll happily talk about more 3D printers. But if you want to, if you want to clarify what you're saying, Arius, you know, I'll happily, whatever printer you want to talk about, I'll talk about it. When is the Nexus 2000 coming out? Yeah, so again, guys, we've talked about it a lot, but we've got the infamous Nexus 100 behind me there, that you can actually go online if someone is mad enough and has £1,000 that they pretty much want to set fire to. You can go and buy a Nexus 100. It is available to purchase. Everyone thought it was an April Fool's joke, okay? So everyone that thought it was a joke, but it was like, no, seriously, guys, you want to buy it, you can buy it, and there's one here ready to go. Configured right-handed, so any right-handed shooters out there that want a 100 capacity loader, well, we've got one sitting here for you. Heng Fang saying he likes his Holosun more than the RMO, so it just looks like Daniel's wasted his money. Whoops. Love you, Daniel. So I heard your FEO can authorize a one-for-one slot on your FAC. Is that something you're aware of? So I believe again, I've never actually done a one-for-one slot. I've been through a standard variation, but not a one-for-one. I believe it's just a fairly standard process, because you've already got authority to own that rifle. So it's pretty much like, yeah, I sold this rifle that you told me I could own, and I want to buy another one that you've already told me previously I can own. So I think it's just more of an admin thing. So you just fill out a form and then send it in, and they take care of the rest. Again, it's one of the things that I personally would like to see changed. I don't see why that couldn't be handled by an RFD, and then certainly when you get into electronic licenses and things like that, having a card or some sort of RFID or app or whatever, that you can go into the gun room and they can scan, and then they can see basically a digital license. And the thing is, it can be all encrypted, it can all be verified. You know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I don't think it's, I think it's the best way to say that. Got to be careful, you know. Got to be careful what I say. But basically, I don't think necessarily the firearm certificate or even like an RFD certificate is the most secure form of like identity or verification that there is. I think something electronic would be a lot more secure with encryption and all that. So that's what I'd like to see happen. But as far as I know, for one for one, you just basically apply and they trade it over. It's usually just a standard process, basically. Seeing David Kiddle has just joined a little late, but thanks for joining anyway. And he's saying that there's a full auto MP5 waiting in Kentucky. What a guy, you know. How often do you get to say that? There's a MP5 waiting for me. But yes, that will be awesome, and a whole bunch of other full auto guns out there, and also the new Remington Versamax, I believe it is, which again we were due to be reviewing a few weeks ago out in Kentucky, but you know that's gone now. We're looking forward to October now. And I believe spaces are still available if you want to come out and shoot machine guns out in Kentucky, along with doing IPSC and 3-gun and various night shoots, swamps shoots, and any sort of shooting. It's America. Did I might have actually taken it off. No, I think maybe I took it down, because given my circumstances, it's not always the most appropriate. But we did the drive-by shooting out in Utah. I've probably told this story before, but basically there was a free range, there was a road. Obviously it's a safe, confined on the road, there's no public walking about, but there was this sort of internal road that went along the front of the bays, and it was like, we've got a minivan with some sliding doors, we've got an AK, and I've got somebody had an AK, and I had I think it was the Walther PPQ at the time, and it was like, well, maybe we should just check this is okay. So we go into the range office, and it's like, would you have any objections if somebody who's not shooting drove the minivan at, you know, a sensible speed across the bays, and we were to shoot at targets while the vehicle was moving? And the guy sort of looked at me like, is there going to be anyone on the range while you're doing that? He'd be like, no, of course, like, you know, basic safety rules apply. He's like, fill your boots, as long as I can watch. And it's like, anything goes out there, seriously, anything goes. And I definitely said about the Tannerite before, and the range staff, Ryan and I started gearing up the size of Tannerite that we were using. And is it Tannerite? Yeah, I think it's Tannerite. And it's we got to like one of the largest sizes that we had bought, set it off, and there was this like repetitive booming echo, like the whole range heard it. And at the same time, well, just after the shot had gone off and it had gone boom, one of the range staff came along and stopped on the quad bike, and we're like, oh, here we go, this is the rest of the trip ruined. We're going to be sent home, we're going to have everything confiscated, we're going to get arrested, this is not good. And the guy's just like, is that Tannerite? I'm like, yeah. Cool. Drives off. Like, it's just anything you want to do out there, like, as long as you're sensible, sometimes even when you're not sensible. But yeah, that's looking forward to that. Can you reload ammunition in the UK? Yes, I just can't show it on YouTube. But funny enough on that subject, there's we do have a video of a ammo manufacturer's like a tour of their facility. But I think if you... Oh, Nala's trying to get in. Come on, go. There we go. Shut that again. But yeah, if you actually sit down and make a video showing the processes of loading, YouTube will take it down, unfortunately. Well, I believe it is in violation of their rules and agreements. But actually, that brings me on to... I've done well. We've been chatting away nicely. I haven't even needed my prompts. But on that note, on the note of YouTube and reloading and their less than agreeable policies at some points, there's a good... I've got a full video coming out on this, but it is sort of recent news. YouTube has changed their monetization sort of procedure. So, as I'm sure you know, guys, channels have the option to monetize a video. and I know it gets annoying, I know everyone hates adverts, but for the small price of watching a 10-second advert at the beginning of the video, that helps the channel, can reinvest, all that sort of stuff, as well as the donations. But so the monetization for growing, I think, even for smaller channels, is actually more important than the bigger channels. I know there's multi-millionaire YouTubers out there, and they've got 3 holiday homes and 2 Ferraris, and it's very hard to sort of feel sorry for them when they complain about monetization is low, or their video is demonetized. But certainly for the smaller channels, it's basically in a way free money, and it's money that I know I don't have to allocate to anything else other than equipment and budget for the channel. So obviously gun channels are very hard hit by demonetization, and it's just a yes or no. So you would select on the video whether you wanted it to be monetized or not. Usually it's yes, and then it basically gets put out there, and you're in the hands of the gods whether it gets monetized or demonetized. Now, if it gets demonetized, the only thing you can then do is ask for a review. Now, I've been fairly lucky that the majority of videos that I ask for a review for are remonetized, but it's always been this sort of like black and white and yes or no. And what YouTube have now done is they've actually given a list of let's say controversial topics or things that may not be appropriate for advertisement, because what you got to remember is that they have companies like Starbucks and Coca-Cola and Nike and all that, and Nike don't want an advert put on something that they don't want associated with. So YouTube tries to basically make sure that all content, all monetizable content, is at a certain minimal level. So within all of these headers, so they've got like swearing, they've got nudity, they've got adult topics and stuff like that. And they also have a firearm sort of section, and then when you click into it, it will give you 3 other options, and one is the first one is shooting a gun within a controlled environment like a range, which for, again, like most of the gun videos that I make, that's it. We're on an approved range, it's all licensed, it's all legal. And great news, if you click that, if you say to YouTube, yep, there's a gun in this video, but it's at a range, it's all controlled, that will not affect your monetization. And what they've also, because it's Google and they're very, very intelligent with their algorithms, they are going to be using machine learning. So basically, if you're truthful with it, if you're consistently, honest about what's in your video, and they can see that, then they will actually start giving you more of a sort of a sway in if your video is monetized. So sort of funny enough, the first 2 videos I did this with, they were instantly demonetized. So I requested a review and they were both remonetized. So what Google's then going to do is say, okay, well, he told us this, we initially thought he was lying, but actually it turned out that he was correct. So that sort of goes as a plus on my channel, which means hopefully next time I tell them that the content is perfectly fine to be monetized, it won't just instantly get demonetized. But yeah, it's probably really boring for you guys, but it is important. And again, just quickly on that note, while we're on the subject, so again, if you saw last week, I was talking it went a bit crazy in terms of the donations, and anyone want to continue that would be absolutely fantastic. But I said I've been eyeing up some stuff, so I just want to give a shout out to everyone that certainly donated last week and has previously donated, because it allows me to be able to go out and get stuff like this, which is a lens that I've been wanting for a little while. There's the spec of it. It's a prime 50 with an f1.8, basically a very cheap lens for the performance that it gives, and basically the f1.8 means that it can deal really, really well with low light, and there's it on the camera. I don't think I've actually ever shown this camera, but I've had it for a number of years. It is what I want to upgrade, but there's the new lens. So I mean, like the camera as well. So again, talking about monetization, it allowed me to go out and buy the camera. I did buy it on finance, but it was when like EnglishShooting started bringing in about 30 quid a week, and I was like, well, that, you know, Jessups do like interest-free finance, and I was like, cool, well, that's that covered. And after like the 2-year finance, obviously owned it outright. So I guess a big thank you to all of you as well for watching, because you know, your ads, I know it's painful to watch, but it means that I can go out and get stuff like this, and this was actually a huge step up for the channel, because I was doing everything on my phone, and then because of you guys watching and clicking ads and watching ads, I was able to go and get that. But that's a nice new lens, and I know I was talking about a new camera as well, and you're probably thinking, why are you buying Canon lenses and you're going to go and get a Sony? That lens comes highly recommended for the Sony as well, so again, just thinking for the future. But there we go, that's sort of just some admin I wanted to get. Oh, and someone's Carl again. I swear, at this point you must be a drug dealer trying to get rid of your money. But again, you've done more than enough, Carl. But again, it's very much appreciated. So sorry, let's get back onto your questions and your topics. Keep them coming in, guys. If you're watching, don't be shy. Put a comment in the comment section below if you've got a topic or a question that you wanna talk about. And of course, guys, please give a thumbs up to this video and help us grow the channel, grow the sport, and everything that we can do to get more people shooting. So, question from David: have I seen the Savage USA new Renegade Match Semi-Auto designed by Pat Keeley? No. Is it at this point you're going to say that there's going to be one out there waiting for us in Kentucky? Because that would be awesome. But no, I haven't. The thing is, like, I still don't... like, obviously I still keep on track and on top of shooting news and new guns and all that, because I have an interest. But I can tell you that there's a lot less interest when you can't actually go out and buy them. So, you know, I don't sort of keep up with necessarily the new, you know, anything sort of practical related. I'm fairly, I'm usually fairly hot on. But until it's available here in the UK, until, you know, it sort of hits the shore, I don't get excited about. There's always a gun to review at the moment. So no, I haven't seen that, but it'd be good to try it out. Again, always happy to try as many guns as possible. Well, Nick, again, I'm lagging behind some of the questions here, but Nick, no, I didn't forget to clap. I've got it set in my phone, and again, I can't remember who it was that that suggested that, but it saved me both last week and this week, so definitely appreciate that. Is it realistic for someone from inner city London to get into the beautiful sport of shooting? How can I get into shooting real guns coming from London? Well, luckily I have a lot of experience with this, because I started shooting when I was in London. Now I don't live in London anymore, wasn't raised there or born there or whatever, but I was pretty central. I was, yeah, as central as you can pretty much get. I was living, when did I, yeah, so it was, I was living in South Kensington at the time, right, literally right behind the Royal Albert Hall, so again, fairly central. And I got into shooting through my university club. There are actually a number of ranges in London that you can go to. So the first one I would try, so there's one range. It used to be basically at Blackfriars, and I need to go and make a video down there at some point, because I'm sure the hatch is still there. But you had this, it's right on the riverbank, the riverside, and it was this, it looked like this continuous like panelled wall, and there was one little hole, and you'd stick your hand in it and sort of pull the latch, and like part of the wall would go in. It was like incredibly James Bond, and you would always like see the look on people's faces when you sort of stick your hand in a wall, and they'd be like, and then you disappear into the wall, and by the time that they get to you, you've disappeared. Unfortunately, that range, it might still be going, but we moved from that range because it was actually below the waterline, so it would flood, and it was very, very old. So they actually built a purpose-built range underneath London Bridge, and it's the side. I don't know what the building is. I think it's number 1 London Bridge, but there's a building and it's got like a corner missing from it. It's got like an overhang, but part of a corner missing. And around that area, that's the side that it's on. And literally underneath the bridge, suspended under the bridge over the water, is a full range. And it was actually paid for by, I think the majority of it was lottery funding for the 2012 Olympics. So it was this whole ethos of reinvesting in the future and leaving a legacy, the 2012 legacy. And they built this new range, and I think it was like a 6 or 8 lane 50 meter, maybe just like 30 meter. It was certainly enough to do a fair amount of shooting in, and I wasn't born in there, and Nala has just turned the printer on, which is fantastic. And a sort of funny side story. So it was built from the ground up, purpose built. There was a hatch in the center of the range, and you'd open it up, and it always gave me like this most like sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. But you'd open this hatch and you'd be looking at the Thames, just straight from the range. But funny enough, when they did their armory, they had the I think it was like the Chief Met firearms armourer, or maybe like the Chief of Met Police, or whatever, someone fairly senior and experienced, come down to assess the armory and basically give it the thumbs up. And he's pulling these like really concerned faces, and they're thinking, oh god, we've missed something, we've forgotten something, they're not going to approve it, we're not going to be able to open up the range. And he said, yeah, there's going to be no issue with this at all. You have better security. This armory is more secure than the one that we use for the Met Police. So it's a hell of a facility. They've got a clubhouse there, working toilets, which I know doesn't necessarily sound like a luxury, but for most ranges in England it is. A little tuck shop, kitchen. So anyway, on to probably what you really want to know. 2 clubs that shoot there is the Stock Exchange Rifle Club, Cirque, or the Marylebone Rifle and Pistol Club. So if you want to Google either of those, so again, Stock Exchange Rifle Club or the Marylebone Rifle and Pistol Club, those, I believe, the 2 clubs that sort of own and manage the range. There are a number of other clubs available there. I have recommended both of those clubs before. I don't know which one it was, but someone went there, wasn't exactly very inviting or very friendly to him, and I had to say, well, check out, they've got a big notice board, and it will show you which clubs are shooting at what days and what times. And I think when I was there must have been about 6 different clubs shooting there, including Imperial. Worst case, if you can't find any of those, go get in contact with the Imperial. So it's the Imperial College Rifle and Pistol Club, and just drop them a message and they will be able to point you in the right direction. But for anyone that's in central London, anybody that wants to join a Home Office approved club and get their FAC and get their guns, and even if you have issues storing your guns at your own house, which I did in halls because it was actually a university policy that we weren't allowed to have firearms in our own dorms, I kept all of my guns at the armory. I rented a locker. It wasn't expensive for the year. And I kept all of my guns there, and then was able to take them to and from home. So yeah, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to go shooting in London. The London Bridge range is a fantastic facility, and there are a number of clubs that you can go there. Again, Stock Exchange Rifle Club or the Marylebone Pistol and Rifle Club. But that should be it for London clubs. I'm sure hopefully out of that you can find what you're looking for and get shooting. So that would be fantastic. So guys talking about the Nexus 100. Yes, we have heard of people say it. Well, we've had the suggestions of stacking them. I don't know what we're going to do for next year for April Fools. Maybe we should just go for the Nexus 1000. Maybe that's what we should do. That would be insane. That would be like a barrel around you. There's no way to be able to load that. It's still talking about the 1-for-1 variation. You heard that an FEO can do a change there and then. Again, I've never done one. I still think, unfortunately, what I believe is that you have to send in your application with the form. So that's what I think. If it's different, it might depend on what county you're in and what they allow their FEOs to sort of do there and then. I know some counties you can pop in for a 1-for-1 variation. So instead of them coming out to you, I think if you pop into the office, as long as it's pre-arranged, that they can do it while you wait. It does depend on what county you are, but just give them a call. Just if you need one. Obviously, at the moment, I'm sure they're not going to be able to do it, but just drop them a message, drop them an email, or give them a call, and they should be able to answer that for you. But yes, it can be done then and there. I just think it needs to be done then and there at the office, so you would still need to go into the office. And good to see that Connors has joined us. Of course, Connors, the creative genius and founder of Magload, and just saying, not everyone loves Daniel. Daniel's been a naughty boy. If you like hot water topics, discuss the ethics of buying Holosun and other Chinese accessories when the world should avoid overly relying on them in our supply chain. Well, this is obviously very topical. The issue is about competitiveness. I mean, we live in a capitalist society. It's all about free competition, free market, and it's luckily Magload is in the fortunate position where it is a made in the UK certified company. Of course, I don't think you could ever get a company where 100% of everything comes from that one country. But I don't know what percentage it is. Connor's actually went and worked it all out. But even before I got involved with Magload, Connor's to his detriment spent a ridiculous amount of time and money ensuring that everything came from the UK, from things like the magnets to the Velcro to the packaging. It was all fairly locally sourced, and certainly within the UK. And the thing about China and all that is all well and good sort of saying, oh yeah, everyone should stop buying from China, which I do agree with. Everyone should make more of an effort to buy local, to buy British made, UK made, made in Britain, whatever. But it comes down to competitiveness, and unfortunately the Chinese, they can do stuff at cost, at prices that people in the UK just cannot get anywhere near. And it's just, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. It's going to be very, very hard. You can change the consumer mindset to a certain extent, but when things aren't significantly cheaper, you're not going to be able, people that can't afford or don't have the luxury to pay the bit of extra to buy made in Britain, and companies that maybe on really small margins, they can't afford to switch. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what we live in. So in an ideal world, everyone would buy from their own country and that support their own local economies, but it's China's just too competitive. I don't think, I know there's been various sanctions, I know there's going to be things in place that could actually be, I feel, disastrous for UK manufacturing if it's like a light switch. If the UK start making it really, really hard to buy from China without putting mechanisms in place to make manufacturing cheaper here in the UK, that it can't be one or the other. It needs to be both. There needs to be a change in our industry, be that in the rules or regulations, in tax or whatever, to make it cheaper, to make it more efficient. Grants, I know there's a lot of farming grants. They could potentially do the same within engineering and manufacturing, and basically make us more competitive. That's to me, I don't think it's necessarily about stopping from buying from China. I think it needs to start with British industry becoming more competitive. Don't get me wrong, I think in a lot of engineering and manufacturing scenarios, we in the UK or we in England are world leaders, for the certainly for the size of country that we are in the population. We can wipe the floor with with most people around the world with certain aspects of manufacturing and processing, but there's a cost to it. And if you want stuff that's cheap, if you want, you know, cheap electronics and disposable this and disposable that, it has to be at a low price. So yeah, again, I would much rather everything was bought in the same country. I just don't think it's necessarily as simple as just saying not buying from China, especially when, you know, some people can barely afford to get into the sport, you know, and saying to them, oh, you should feel bad because you bought Chinese. Like, at the end of the day, I'd rather someone be shooting with with Chinese accessories than not be shooting at all, you know. So I think there's a balance. I don't think it's necessarily everyone should feel bad from buying from China. That's the economy that we've created. So saying, Callum, Jerry Michalak has put up a new reloading video. See, I know there are a few specific channels that do reloading on YouTube, but you cannot, like, it was Demolition Ranch. He had a load of videos taken down because he was loading ammunition. Granted, he was putting razor blades in shotgun cartridges, but he was showing the process of how to make home load ammunition. And I don't know, maybe YouTube, again, talking, you know, we were talking about the monetization, maybe YouTube have sort of finally understood and have got the message that just because something is showing a gun and modifications for a gun or making ammunition doesn't mean it's necessarily illegal. Again, you can go onto Amazon and buy some pretty scary books that are going to show you to do a lot more than a home loading video. You know, that's what's always pissed me off about that. Daniel smelled Cal coming in with these $. I know Callum is a cheap date. I wouldn't say I'm a cheap date. You just treat me very well, Daniel. And when I'm treated well, I return favours, all right? Whether sexual or otherwise. Don't judge. Have I seen the Ruger 5.7? No. But Philip has one. So, again, one waiting out in Kentucky. That's going to be a catchphrase from now on. Oh, don't worry, it's waiting out in Kentucky. Where are we? I lost it again. Shot off to oblivion. There we go. Any chance of firing an XM556 micro gun in Kentucky at Knob Creek? Yeah, we're only, I think I worked it out, Carl, we're like 2 hours away from Knob Creek. Unfortunately, when we go out in October, there won't be the machine gun shoot, but we've still got to make a trip out to Knob Creek, and I'm sure there will be some machine guns there. Oh, this could get interesting. Yeah, so Callum Siddle, how vocal about being pro-gun can an FAC holder be? Is it safe to talk about wishing the likes of 5.56 and 7.62 semi-auto rifles were illegal? Is self-defense okay? Or can talking about any of that get you in trouble? So, another topic that I know a lot about. Stay the hell away from self-defense. That's like, I believe in freedom of speech. I believe that as a society, the only way that we progress as a society is by having difficult conversations and hearing things that initially you might not like. And that works both ways. That works for sort of anti-gun and it works for pro-gun. And I would say, like, I'm a sensible pro-gunner in a way. Like, I support our licensing system and all those checks. When you end up with two extremes, there is always the middle ground, and it's not about compromise. It's about, if you're on one side, you're on one side. If you're on the other, you're on the other, and you're not want to give. But there's always there's a sweet spot that is actually the most sensible option, and I don't think you can get to that sweet spot without talking about things. Unfortunately, for my previous discussions on self-defense, I've been called a fanatic and called, what else? Oh yeah, that's right, EnglishShooting was called by the head of Hampshire Firearms a forum of extremism. Now, I'll explain that, and that was based off of him finding a comment from some random account, never seen it before, never seen the comment before, but someone commented on one of my videos saying you guys should take up arms against Parliament or something like that. And he showed me this comment, and I was like, well, I don't support that. I've never said anything remotely on those lines ever before. I don't support that comment. If I'd have seen it, I would have deleted it. You know, I was getting, you know, over the 4 years I had 25,000 comments. I miss a few, okay, but he labelled English shooting a form of extremism, and the judge during my appeal said that it was like, he could obviously see I was passionate, and he was like, in a way he sounded a little bit like Yoda, because it was like, you know, hate leads to anger, anger leads to fear, and like, and all that. I don't know what the exact quote is, but he was like, you know, passion leads to this and that leads to that, and he basically called me a fanatic. So I think these topics could necessarily, as an FAC holder, could be touched upon, but how they are touched upon is very, very tricky. It's almost like the news broadcaster thing. If you supply quotes and arguments that other people have, then you're not supplying your own opinion. But yeah, self-defense at the end of the day, apart from some very, very small exceptions, you cannot own a gun for self-defense within the UK. And also what you have to remember is that owning a gun in the UK is a privilege. It's not a right. I know some people say that you've got you know, there's the Magna Carta, or the Bill of Rights for the UK. Basically, it's been superseded. I try and explain it to every person that brings up that argument. Our law doesn't work like the US, right? So things get superseded and precedents are set. We don't have a right. We don't have a given right to own firearms in the UK. Therefore, it's a privilege, and because it's a privilege, the police can take away that privilege for anything that they deem necessary. You know, so and this is, you know, something that I really don't want anyone to fall in the trap of thinking, which is, well, I've got my FAC, they can come and take it if they want and I'll fight them in court. It's very much in their favour, like 100%. So, you know, you do have to think about what you're saying out there. Self-defense is not a valid reason for owning a gun in the UK. A question that spins off of that is, you know, do I think we should be able to talk about it? Do I think that we should, you know, we shouldn't be in fear about talking about it? Well, I support freedom of speech, so I'll leave it at that. But obviously you do need to be sensible. You need to, you know, portray the right character. You need to, you know, they need to be absolutely certain you're not going to go and do something illegal with that gun. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, just talking about something that isn't legal to do can lead them to think that you're going to go and do that, if that makes any sense. However, I think it's a little less murky talking about, you know, 5.56, 7.62 semi-autos or full bore semi-autos, or getting handguns back and stuff like that. Like, I'm perfectly happy to sit here now and say I would love to have handguns back, or I'd love to have semi-autos back. I'm perfectly happy to sit here and say that I think they should be back, because, you know, I have a lot of statistical evidence that, you know, proves that banning particular firearms doesn't work, and that it actually has the opposite effect on crime and things like that. So, you know, but that's in a sporting context. I'm not saying that I want, you know, handguns back for self-defense. I'm not saying that I want semi-auto rifles back for self-defense. I'm saying that, you know, as a serious practical shooter, where, you know, the two biggest disciplines in practical shooting are handgun and rifle, I would like to be able to shoot those in the UK. And from what I've seen on the statistical evidence sort of side of things, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be legal within the UK. Does that mean I'm going to go out and buy one because I think they should be legal, or go and procure one in some means? Absolutely not. And, you know, back onto the self-defense, you know, the discussions and opinions that I was putting out, it wasn't like I think this, therefore I'm going to go and do it. It's just, this is what I think. And unfortunately, there was this blurry line where it's like, okay, well, that's what you think, but we're not so sure that you're not actually going to go and do that. In terms of petitioning and campaigning and sort of, you know, expressing that you would like gun laws to change for things that are technically already legal in terms of sport shooting, then I don't see a problem with that. But ultimately, just be very, very careful. The police are watching, like 100%. Don't think that you're too small or they're never going to be interested in you. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's routine for various departments out there to spend, you know, like have a social media day where they all go on Facebook and they search in your name and they find your profile and they have a search. I can pretty much guarantee that they go and look through your social media before they give you out your licenses. So, you know, don't think that you're too small or too, say, insignificant in their eyes to sort of delve into you. They will, and if they find something they don't like, you will know about it. Again, I know it says I've got the spotlight a little bit more on me and the magnifying glass a little bit more on me because of what I do, and certainly back when I lost my licenses. But you know, I had the police round for posting that I had picked up a gun, you know, and it wasn't. You know, a friend had bought a Stoker M3000, and I was going to use that for competition, and I was going to use that you know, as my Section 2 semi-auto shotgun. And I just put a post up there, you know, really happy to be picking up my new training gun. Now, you know, the issue with that statement is that I said it was mine and I wasn't authorized to possess or to purchase, and it wasn't mine, but it was mine to use. But 2 weeks after that post, I had the police round, uniformed police, you know, marked car out the driveway. Right, where's this shotgun? Oh, I don't know. Well, what shotgun? You said that you'd bought a shotgun. Well, no, I said I'd picked a gun up that I was going to use for competition. Well, we want to have a look at your safes. And they had a look at my safes. They then accused me of having a handgun because they wanted to look into a safe that was about that big. And I was like, I told them, you're not going to find a shotgun in there. Oh yeah, but you might have a handgun. I was like, whoa, that's escalated a little bit. But anyway, they are watching. You know, they are. There's probably someone from Hampshire Firearms right now watching this. Hello, please hit like and donate. I'm gonna need the money for the application fee soon. But yeah, just be really, really careful what you put out online. Like seriously, they don't need much of a reason to take stuff away. Yeah, again, guys, I'm just reading your responses to that. Pretty much the same thing. It's weird. Like, when did talking about something become so grey? You know, like, oh no, you can't talk about that, but it's like a valid discussion. No, you're an extremist. You're an extremist fanatic for just talking about it. You know, yeah, I'm sure if I was meeting up in a, you know, some undisclosed location with, you know, a cell of people at the same time every week, and we're having those sorts of discussions, it might be a bit different. But, you know, opening up conversation online is sort of what I do for a living. But anyway, oh bloody hell, Callum's FAC pot. No, that's the one thing the money doesn't go towards. That goes straight towards the that goes to the channel. I pay for the FAC myself, but thank you. I'm gonna be able to get another lens at this rate. And Daniel, I'm still holding you to it. You said that if I shaved Daniel into my beard, you'd buy me the A37. I'm still very much up for that. Please, like, it's getting long as well. Like, it would, you know, it needs a bit of a trim. So Daniel's saying, sadly, the shift from Chinese manufacturing to other Asian nations has already begun. it won't be months or years, but it will be the end of going to China for the cheapest versus valued goods. Yeah. The thing is, again, it's I look at this sort of whole China problem as a sort of greater society problem, is that we value low cost, we value disposable, but as the saying goes, you buy cheap, you buy twice. And actually, like, certainly within engineering and manufacture, if you buy a decent set of tools, like tools are one of the things where it doesn't pay to buy cheap. It really doesn't. I've got tools that I've had for 10 years plus. Oh god, it's Richard and Carl again. Thank you, Richard. I'm at 42 quid. What's a core terminus certificate now? Like 90. So like we're halfway there. I guess that pays for like the SGC side of things. But again, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to run out of goodie bags at this point. Some good news actually, because we were talking about it. I said, I've got to do something at the end of lockdown. Now, having like a clay day, open day, I'm not going to be able to, for the short term, say if that's going to go along. At some point it will happen. At some point, because there's a clay ground here that's operated during the summer, usually would be open now, but of course, Rona. And I will do like some get-together barbecue. There's burgers up there during the morning, and we can go round and do some clay shooting. But I do have sign-off. I don't know the full details yet, but I am going to be doing a little range day. Now, it's going to be limited to 5 people. Carl and Richard sort of have first refusal on 2 of those spots, because they've just been absolute legends over the last 2 weeks and obviously have far too much money, and more money than sense. But anyway, but there are going to be at least 3 slots open, and I'm thinking just like pretty much an absolute free-for-all. There will be restrictions on what can be shot because of the range sort of terms and conditions and your own FACs and all that, but there will basically be a load of guns. We'll head over to the range. You can come here to Bluefield Sports, hang out in the gun room for a bit. We can head over to the range, shoot as many guns as you're allowed to or you want to. So that's something I'm going to do. Now, I don't know exactly what the format's going to be in terms of how to get hold of those spaces, but it is something that after lockdown there will be the opportunity to get some spaces for that. So keep an eye out for that when I've pulled my finger out and actually decide what I'm going to go and do for that. But yeah, again, Richard, Carl, Nutters, thank you, really appreciate it. And I'm sure all of you guys as well should be saying thank you to them, because this really is like seriously helping my camera fund. And bearing in mind that the camera I currently use is I think 30 FPS at 1080, and the camera I want to get is it's 4K at 60 FPS, or it's or 120 at 1080. So it's a huge step up, and you're the guys watching it. Oh, you got Nick as well. Callum's Cup Fund. Jesus, you guys are nutters. But thanks, Nick. Really appreciate that. That's you're funding the channel, and Paul's keeping me full of biltong. So between the 2 of you, you're like the perfect pair. But again, really do appreciate it. And again, I can't stress this enough. Every single penny goes back into the channel, so it does benefit you guys in the long run. So again, thank you very much. Keep going down for these donations, which I don't mind, but I do lose where I am in the chat. Where were we? So sorry guys if I end up missing some of your comments, because I'm like constantly trying to find where I was. That's right, we're talking about Chinese manufacturing. So it's driven by what the market wants. If people want cheap tat, people will make cheap tat. As soon as people start realizing that if you invest in things, you know, it's like my parents have some like kitchen appliances or kitchen utensils from like before I was born. You know, you go into IKEA and buy something and see if it lasts more than 2 years. You know, that's just the way it is. You know, the market will lead the manufacturing, basically. Yeah, and Tom is like hit the nail on the head. For manufacturing in the UK to happen, you need the labour and overheads to be lower. Simple as that. We're too expensive to low-cost countries. Exactly. I mean, you know, I'm not saying the minimum wage is a bad thing, certainly not, but it's part of the reason that, you know, people are paid peanuts out in the Far East. You can't compete with that. And then also all of the overheads, you know, more on taxes, more on rates, you know, business rates. That's what really needs to change. You know, either some government incentives or some relief on business rates to really get us competitive. Yeah, well, David Kiddle's saying I bet 98% of what I'm wearing is made in China or Taiwan. I for some reason saw the tag on this. I know this is made in China. Yeah, my cap's made in... Oh my god, it's a Maglo product made in China. Connors, we need to burn them. We need to burn them and find some UK made ones. Apart from that, I'm wearing Asics. I don't know if Asics are in China or jeans. At this point, with people chucking money at me and me describing my clothes, I might as well just start taking stuff off. Like, I've literally become a male gigolo. This is what you've driven me to. 4 years without a license, and I've had to resort to selling myself on live stream. The downfall of English shooting. Tony, yeah, much appreciate the good luck wishes. It's just wishing me good luck on my FAC and SGC applications. There is 1 minute. Let me this I need verification of first. And apologies, I know it's not exactly the best viewing me. You're just on my phone, but I'm just going to check something. This might be a real cock tease if it's a no. But I need to check with somebody else because it's ultimately their call. But I got some. There is definitely some exciting news. Some really exciting news. I'm just teasing you guys, but genuinely there is, and seriously, I've been biting my tongue all night, but I'm just gonna double check if I can talk about it or not. Hopefully I can. Otherwise, you will find out quite soon. No, that's a no. So you'll have to find out quite soon, I'm afraid. It won't be long, but yeah, some good news. But there we go. Just have to leave it there. Sorry, guys. Where were we? So Carl vote, thank you. I like you doing it for me now. That's awesome. But yeah, as Carl said, please thumbs up for the stream. You know, if this gets like 100 likes, I'll start taking items of clothing off. There we go. That's some incentives, or maybe not, whichever way you want to do it. So I can see something going on. Also, Fred Morrison, I don't tell anyone about guns. No one knows I have a shotgun in my house. And then people saying, so Nick, how do you introduce new blood to the sport then? Good question. Most people find their own way. I disagree, Fred. And I've got the messages to sort of back this up. Like, it's not an easy sport to find your own way into. I got into it pretty much by accident, and the majority of messages that I end up receiving go along the lines of, just found your channel, I hadn't the faintest idea that you could do stuff like this in the UK, how do I do it? Now, there's actually a lot, and like seriously, that's, you know, obviously paraphrasing quite a bit, but the general gist of, you know, if you were to amalgamate and average all of the messages that I get, those would be pretty much the words that I used. So oh, who's that? Got a Steve for coffee and tea making course. Thank you, Steve, much appreciated. Oh, and David, wow, I mean, things must be getting excited if David's throwing the money at me towards real combat pants, not jeans. I'm known now for wearing jeans. It's going to have to, maybe Magload should bring out a tactical pair of jeans. How would you feel about that? A denim combat pants. There we go. Who'd be interested in a pair of those? So yeah. The general questions that general messages, just found your channel, didn't know we could own it, how do I do it? Now, that's to me actually quite revealing, because it says that obviously here's someone that's sort of passionate enough and keen enough that they want to get into it, and they've luckily found the channel, but they've still managed to find the channel, and yet they don't know how to get into the sport. And as you guys know, I make video after video after video about how to get into the sport, and even if they can't, if they've managed to find the channel and they can't find those videos, like what else can you do apart from putting a huge banner on a double-decker bus and driving it through the middle of London? Not a bad idea, actually. But apart from doing that, you can't really get much more in people's faces. So to me, I genuinely think my outlet of reaching as many people and promoting the sport in the best way that I can is through YouTube, through making videos. But like, okay, so I might be one person reaching 100,000 people a month. So okay, that's pretty impactful. But I think more people are introduced, from my experiences and from the messages and from what I've seen over the years, more people are introduced in my experience through friends, families, and all that. It's through having somebody that that can take you down the range. And bearing in mind that it happened at my old job. Somebody was interested in shooting. They'd always had a passion with firearms and guns and all that, and I got talking to them because I'm not exactly shy. I tell everyone if they don't like it, that's their problem, and they can like it or lump it. And he ended up applying for his FAC, and that was purely because I took him shooting and I introduced him to it. Well, if every shooter in the UK does that, we have 750,000 license holders. If every single one of them went out after the lockdown and introduced one person, which is actually very easy to do, you'd double. You'd have 1.5. And then if the next year everyone goes and introduces another one person, you're then at 3 million and 6 million and 12 million and 24 million, and I'm sure you can all do maths, but you see how it grows. Richard Weston for the teacup dollies. Well, there's Nala. I mean, technically she's my coffee girl for the night, but again, thank you very much, Richard. So yeah, that's where I think the power of being vocal, not in the face, not aggressive, but not shying away. So not being ashamed of shooting. Like I know, I'm not necessarily saying, Fred, that you're ashamed of shooting or whatever, and everyone's different, and your own personal situations will dictate what you're more comfortable in doing. And I know there's a huge security element that you need to consider. You do need to be very, very careful about what you say online and what information you put out online. But there's still, I don't see any reason why, if you work with people every day, okay, yeah, not necessarily just because you work with someone doesn't mean you can trust them. But I would say that for colleagues that you might know, you've known a number of years or at least a few months, you should at least be able to find out if you can trust them enough to tell them that you shoot. And I know some people are hesitant. I know some people are scared of the reaction. Stuff them. It's their problem if they don't like this sport. Thank you, Carl. I really hope you and Richard have enough for rent this month, or mortgage, or whatever. Biltong and Jerky Fund, you know me too well. So, well, I've now got enough for the core terminus certificate, although, as I said, I'll pay for that myself. But we are soon approaching the A7 III. Seriously, it's like I was totting up what I'd already put aside, and I did receive a Google payment a couple of days before, and I'm like totting it all up, really not far off. So maybe I might have to push the button on that soon. But yeah, so I do disagree, Fred. I do think that people should be more vocal. They should be encouraging more people. I really do think that is the most powerful way for us to grow the sport and get more people there. And the thing is, it's about trust. It's all well and good me making videos, talking to, let's say, strangers, but they don't know me from Adam. Like, I could be some deranged psychopath. It's a lot more powerful when somebody that knows you says, "Hey, have you tried this?" And they're like, "Well, hang on a minute." And actually, I've genuinely had this happen. I had a load of college friends. So when I first got my license, at around the age of 21, and got my first shotgun, on my 21st birthday party, my 21st birthday, I ended up taking one of my best mates, and I think it was 3 girls. We had a good ratio that day. And 2 of them, on separate occasions during the day, said, look, there was no way in a million years that I thought I'd ever go out and go anywhere near a gun, never mind shoot one, and never mind enjoy it. And they said the only reason they did it was because they knew me. They knew I wasn't a nutter. They knew I was sensible. They knew they could trust me, and they felt a lot safer going to a new place, going to a range, being around guns, because they knew that I would make sure that they were safe. So there's a lot of power to talking to people and chatting to them and sparking up conversation. I've talked about it before. I had a taxi ride got picked up, I think it was Heathrow, and it was about an hour and a half drive back to where I live, and very early on got onto the subject of shooting, because he asked me what I did, and he said, well, I just want to, just from the off, like, I'm completely against the private ownership of guns. And it's like, okay, well, instead of like instantly, oh, I'm going to put my headphones in and screw you, it's like, well, why? Tell me why. What's your reservations? Not challenging them, but just, curious. And we had this discussion, and like always, there's a lot of misconceptions. He didn't understand the full processes, and I told him about the safes and all, and secure storage, and he had no clue about it. And he said, before I got out of the car, he said, I just want to let you know that you have completely changed my mind. I mean, that's probably what an hour and a half of me being in a car with someone alone is going to do, but it's I was just, why? Just ask why don't you like it? What are you scared of? What are you concerned about? Because maybe it's not actually, as you understand it. So yeah, anyway, long-winded discussion once again, but just talk to people. Just talk to them, let them know. Again, your own personal circumstances, I can understand. In some situations you wouldn't be able to, but see Carl, saying always use fake identities and emails when online and never uploaded photo. Now, in a way, if that is the only way that you feel comfortable sharing photos and talking about the sport, and joining in a live chat, maybe you're not even Carl at all, but we in some ways it could, I think could hurt, because if someone understands that it's not a real it's not a real name, or it's a fake account, and it's like, well, what have they got to hide? But again, I know not everyone wants to go out there and put their personal detail. I know of a number of people, or let's say usernames within this particular chat, and I know it's not their real name. you know, and that's why I'm always very careful when, you know, referring to people, because I know they don't want their information put out there, and everyone's different. But I do think in a way that it could detriment, because they could think, well, maybe this is a troll, what are they hiding? Again, that can all be explained to a certain extent. You know, it comes down to security, you know, putting that information out there. I mean, I've been criticised plenty of times saying, you know, you've got a massive target on you because you tell everyone that you, well, when I had guns, that I owned guns, and I was like, yeah, so does Amber Hill, so does George Digweed. And I'm not comparing my level of shooting prowess to George Digweed or Amber Hill, but it's inevitable that some shooters are going to end up in, say, the public eye, and like that's going to happen. I mean, it's like, you know, the Times, both the Times and the Daily Mail have written articles about me and English shooting. I can't control that. Like, you know, okay, it's in my online activity that sort of gave birth to that. But if a newspaper picks up on you and you're a shooter and they want to write about you, they will write about you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So again, I just think, why hide? And unfortunately, I'm sort of got now into the position where it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect my work. Well, maybe this is something again for you guys to consider. It did used to really cause issues at my work, again, because of its sort of sensitive nature. But I think any employer would rather not have their employees as active as I was on social media, or I am on social media. But it's horses for courses. Only you can decide what is sort of right for you to do. All I can say is don't shy away. It's not your fault you enjoy shooting. It's not your fault that somebody has bought into all the lies and misinformation that's been put out there. And if someone has an issue with it, if someone dislikes you because of the sport you do, how pathetic. You know, they have the issue, not you. And that's what you've got to keep reminding yourself. What is this about tea? Oh yeah, so Richard teapot. Callum needs a cup to go with that teapot. Are you pimping me out, Connors? That's effectively what you do. Are you now my pimp? I mean, it's working. Like, I can't fault it, but I don't like where this is leading. Especially if you guys see, I forgot one again. It's on the, actually I'll get it. I can post as well. I can join the chat window. Let me grab it. You know, for any of you singletons out there that are having lonely nights during the lockdown, well, I'm pleased to say that Magload has the perfect product. Where is it? Here we go. Get a load of that. Has that worked? Yeah. It's the perfect quarantine kit. See, I've just had this massive realization. I've only just sort of realized I can post you guys links when I'm talking about stuff, to actually be a lot more relevant going forward, because then I can actually show you what I'm talking about. So, but anyway, go and check out the Magload quarantine kit. Yes, there is a Magload branded condom. Anyway, where were we? Richard's talking about, talking of, I had a wonderful surprise of swag through my letterbox. Thanks to Canon, Magload and Gunrun TV. I'll post a pic to the channel. Cheers, guys, and we keep up the good work and fight. Thank you very much. Again, it's like the least I could do after what you donated last week. I really need. This is. I don't know how I'm going to keep a track on it, but I do still have patches. So any of you guys that have donated tonight, if you want to, this is something that I should probably do more regularly and more organised. But any of you that have donated tonight, if you want an English shooting patch, then drop me an email at englishshooting@gmail.com and I'll get a patch. Just let me know your address. That's the word I was looking for. If you don't want to use your real name, if you want to stay anonymous, because I know again there's a few people that you might have been hesitant to get in contact. If you want us to remain anonymous, just use your YouTube username, But actually, I'm going to still need your username to identify who's given what and all that. But yeah, if you want a patch and you've donated, hit the email up and I'll get a patch out to you. It's really the least I can do for helping to support the channel. Richard Weston, once we're free of the EU, there'll be a drive for buy British, buy Commonwealth. Here's hoping. I really do think, well, first of all, the price of European goods is going to go up, which means, you know, for the short term, you know, things might get a little bit more expensive, but it's economies of scale. If British manufacturing is producing more stuff, it's sort of natural that stuff will get cheaper. As cheap as China, I don't know. Sorry, did my mum flex on my behalf there? Talking about what we're wearing. Yes, I have a Swiss watch. My mum just flexed my own YouTube channel on my behalf, and I've got Connor's pimping me out. But the donations are killer again, so well, no, I'm not complaining. Maybe it should be like this every time. No, Paul, your donation is the biltong. It keeps the channel running. Without the biltong, I wouldn't be able to go out there and make the epic videos that I go and do. Talking of epic videos, actually, I'm really happy with this. It's still not 100% approved, but I need to make a couple of changes so that the UKPSA are happy. There was a match back in 2019 that we filmed, some really great footage, but I think it's because it was around the game fair and we had other commitments. I ended up prioritizing editing the game fair videos, and this video never went out, but I finally had the time to sit down and edit it, and it's I think an absolute epic video of practical shooting. So keep an eye out on Gunroom TV for that will be out there very shortly. And I'm hoping, you know, I keep saying, you know, go to Gunroom TV for the practical shooting videos. Of course, you know, very early on, it's what the channel grew. This channel grew on, which was sort of shooting videos and me practical shooting videos with GoPros and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that once the license situation is resolved, which I'm hopeful it will be, well, as soon as lockdown is lifted, there'll be more of that. So, you know, I'm hoping to sort of be able to capture these matches from two aspects. You'll have like the point of view, yeah, that makes me think of things that are definitely not safe for work, but POV, from my perspective on this channel, but then for a more general overview with not just me shooting, there'll be Gunroom TV. So that's what I'm sort of hoping to go through in the future. So Richard Weston, is tomorrow FAC application day? So originally, again, if you guys don't know, there was an agreement a couple of years ago with Hampshire Firearms Licensing where they said that basically tomorrow was the day that they would basically take any application seriously. Unfortunately, because of Rona, they've shut down. So tomorrow is FAC application day. I just can't actually use the FAC application page on the website because they've shut it down, which is really annoying. But there still is some good news on the horizon, but that will have to be revealed when appropriate. As I said, that can't be revealed right now, unfortunately, but some good stuff. Most clubs still run by old gits, form your own. You just need 10 shooters and we have nearly 300 members, most welcoming club ever. Yeah, again, I can't rate Kentucky Firearms Club highly enough. And unfortunately that is, I don't think it's an issue that I think is as bad as I perceived it to be when I first got into the sport, but there definitely is an issue with the old boys clubs, and basically, you know, clubs that have 20 or 30 members, and it's basically a private members club, and they don't like new blood. They like it how it is, and they basically want to run it until they all die, and they're not worried about the future because they're selfish. But then there's clubs like Kentucky Firearms Club that are more than welcome. I mean, even, I know, David, you'll hate me saying this, but even Phoenix over in Slimford, you know, they were incredibly welcoming to me and other new shooters. But obviously I did end up moving over to KFC. But yeah, that doesn't mean, you know, my university club, they were all about new people. There's loads of like welcoming, fresh clubs out there that just really will go above and beyond for new shooters, and that's what we need more of. Maybe we should start the Bluefield Sports Club. I'll talk to Alex about that. So Richard Weston, yeah, we did talk about that. Good news that the NRA have been lobbying the Home Office to have ranges open at the same time as golf courses. Yeah, I believe Basque is coming at them coming at the Home Office from the same angle. I don't see any reason why not. If you're going to be allowed to go out and play golf, you should be allowed to go out and shoot. Like, I mean, shooting is basically the fun form of golf, right? You know, and a golf course is a good waste of a range. So, Daniel Smerrill, damn Callum, making more on the stream than working on the corner. You don't know what I make on the corner, buddy. Before you have it, like, seriously, if I thought it was going to get me the A7 III quicker, I would have an OnlyFans page. I just don't think it's going to be worth my effort. Richard, the English shooting patch is now stuck on the back of my gun bag. Perfect edition. Well, glad to hear it's proudly being displayed. How's the Civic? The Civic is unharmed. No one dare mess with the Civic. I'll still put out a video filling the paper version of the application. Yeah, so I don't know that. Well, you know, obviously it's been a while since I had to deal with firearms licensing, but I think it is online. Whether or not they just have like an online portal that then leads you to download the application form and you fill it out, I don't know. Maybe if anyone's from Hampshire and has applied recently, is it all online now, or do you still have to go through a portal and download the form? But there is actually still a video of me filling out a fake FAC. So, you know, I do go through it. It's like a 20-minute odd video, and we went through, like, basically I went through, obviously at the time I did have an FAC, so I went through and sort of, you know, explained every line. But whatever I end up filling out, I will document it, you know, and obviously there's some details that I'm not going to be able to put out there, but I will try and put as much information, you know, to show you what to put and what questions to answer how. So Paul from the World Gun Owners Association, Basque are FUD twats. They haven't covered themselves in glory recently, and the thing is, it's a shame, because I've always recommended Basque, and I still think overall they probably still are the best organisation for insurance. So as a personal, like, individual and a business as well, trade insurance. Alex is probably more experienced to talk about that, because I don't take care of that side of things. But for a personal level, they will help you. You know, it's, if you're a member, you can phone them up at any time and they will give you the best advice that they can give. If you end up having to go to court, or end up having to, you know, pick an argument with well, not pick an argument, but you end up in a sticky situation with your firearms licensing, let's say, and they you know, they will help you. They will do what they can. I think unfortunately they lack in some experience in some areas, like social media, unfortunately, which is what didn't help me out. And I think recently some of their decisions have been catastrophic, really. But overall, I would still, I don't want to, I know to some people like £7 a month extra is a lot of money, but I would say for me, it's actually still worth paying the £7 a month just for peace of mind, just in case I do need to pick up the phone, just in case I do need someone else in my corner. But I now have a CPSA membership. I actually have, where is it? There it is. Just got a nice view of my cleavage, but it's the least I could do for, what is it up to now? £93. A bit of cleavage for £93. That's a good rate, I'd say. So I am a full member of the CPSA, and that's because it's basically Laura Salisbury that is the legal aid or representative or in-house counsel, whatever you want to call it, for the CPSA, and she's just like on another level when it comes to firearms law and that. So I'd highly recommend the CPSA, but that is going to limit you in terms of just shotguns and sort of clay pigeon shooting, whereas BASC does cover you for everything, I think, apart from practical. But then if you're a UKPSA member, they give you so between the UKPSA, BASC and CPSA, you're good. And honestly, well, I need to be a member of the UKPSA for what I do, but all right, between BASC and the CPSA, that's like roughly about 140, 150 quid a year, a week. That would be, wow. But yeah, 150 quid a year. And I know that's, it's not exactly unpainful to pay that, but for what I do and that peace of mind knowing that I have access to 2 organisations' legal teams if I need it, and after what I've been through, to me, it's worth every penny of that 150 quid. And I'm still a BASC member. Alex is still a BASC trade member, and I think a personal BASC trade member. Connors did cancel his BASC membership, but that wasn't for that wasn't because of the lead shot ban. That was actually because of BASC's lack of opposition to the 50 cal, or very late opposition to the 50 cal, and that was a very long time ago. Well, last year at some point. But yeah, but both Alex and I are still BASC members because it's an organisation that I may need to lean on for help. So, but then I'm sure you guys probably don't have the same risk of needing their help as I do. So it's for you to weigh up, really. Callum, how much more needed for the camera? It was like 200 last week. It's probably still like a good £1,000, but that's not in coffee and loo roll. 420. Are you sure it's just for coffee and loo roll? You sure? Thanks, Carl. Yeah. No, I think there's like a good like 500 quid set aside for the camera. I think I'm going to buy. It's part of why but I bought the lens. So that's out of that budget. I hate it how that works. But anyway, it's part of the reason I bought the lens, because I will use that lens on the new camera, and it means now that I have a lens to instantly go on it. So I could just buy the body, so it's a little bit cheaper. And obviously, working for various VAT registered companies, I can claim the VAT back, which makes it a little bit more cheaper as well. So I don't know, not too far away. I'm really like, I feel sort of like a obligation now to go out and get this camera, but again, all made possible because of you guys, because you're absolutely awesome. So I've downloaded Tech Gaming 45. I've downloaded the form. I'm filling it out on my computer, then printing it out. My handwriting is worse than a 5-year-old. I do have the same issue. I mean, is there anything on there I don't want to show? Let's show you something else. I don't think there's actually anything on here I can show. My writing's like chicken scratch as well, so I have the same problem, but I do take my time when doing those forms, and I do actually prefer using them on pens. I hate filling out forms like in PDF in a PDF viewer and all that. It's just absolutely just rather take my time with the handwriting. I did say Callum, can I buy a patch? Well, if you're here now and you wanna donate something, I think I used to sell the patches for like what, £6 or £7 plus postage, or maybe that was including postage. So if you're able to donate like £5 or £10 here, then drop me an email. I'll get one sent out. That's probably because I don't have an online shop anymore. I have been talking to Connors about letting me put my English shooting patches on Magload. Yeah, that was a no. That was a big no. But maybe if you guys want to pester him, you know, the customer is always right. But otherwise, if you don't want to donate on here, if you really want one, drop me an email anyway. We can sort something out through PayPal, and again, it still will go through the channel. So EnglishShooting@gmail.com. And again, anyone that's donated tonight, I have seen a couple of you guys already pop up, so I am getting your emails. But yeah, anyone that's donated tonight, if you want to drop a message to EnglishShooting@gmail.com with your YouTube username, so that I can just double check you're not being crafty, then I'll get you guys out a patch. More cleavage, more dollar. You know, desperate times, right? Desperate times. Love the camera bling. That's not. I need to bring the big camera in here. Let me know, because I was thinking of wrapping it up, but like you guys are still loving it. If you really want me to disappear for like it's be like 2 minutes, but it depends how much you really want to see it, or whether you guys just snore. If you really want to see the camera that we use for Gunroom TV and you want me to show you it, I'll go and grab it. Otherwise, I'll sit here in the nice warm office. But yeah, if a few of you want to see it, I'll go and grab it. But it does mean me leaving the screen for a little bit, which isn't always the most appropriate when doing a live stream. World Gunners owners is exactly get the membership and insurance. That's all. They're as useless as a chocolate teapot when it comes to anything not related to clay shooting or hunting. Yeah, again, you know, that's part of why Connors cancelled his membership, is because he didn't feel represented. He felt like he was completely overlooked. He wanted to, you know, he wanted the organisation to be fighting for him and fighting for his sport. Well, I say his sport, his preferred area of the sport. Yes, David, I completely agree. We need a top shot event. We've been talking about doing something like this for years, like getting you know, Neil from SRS, Neil from Rack and Load, Sam from SRS Power, getting Johnny and Sasha from the Botley gun shop, which coincidentally is literally only down the road from here. You know, getting us all together and having a shoot off, and maybe, you know, some other channels as well. Anyone that you want to, anyone that, you know, you want to join in and sort of put to the test and do like different disciplines. So it's like, you know, have a long range event, have a like gallery event, have a practical stage, and you know, because we all have different strengths and weaknesses, and sort of have the inter YouTube championship. That would be pretty cool. So a couple of people. Daniel spelled, if I wanted to see a balding man with lady lumps, I'd look in the mirror, or you could just pay me. But anyway, my lady lumps are smaller than yours. So we've had 2. I'll bring the ammo. Yes, that's it. We could have a Punisher stage. We can have how many shots? No, that needs to be it. How many shots can you shoot of Paul's shoulder breakers? Right. That's got to be just one competition. Someone is going to get hurt, seriously hurt. I finally realised I've actually had an issue with my back. I know I'm getting old, right? Sort of like right shoulder blade, between the spine and the shoulder blade, and I don't know, it's not, I'm not like hunch over or anything, but it's certain thing, I move certain ways and I get a little bit of a sharp pain. I genuinely think it's down to your 65-gram loads, and you kept feeding me them, Paul. So I will be sending you the Booper bill. I don't have Booper. I'll be sending you the bill for whatever the chiropractor needs to do. To be honest, like, because it's annoying. Feels like I need a good click. But yeah, I blame Paul entirely. So I'm down. How much worse than long 10 gauge is it? Long 10 gauge. That's gonna hurt. Or that underlever that Rack did a video on. So it was 2 for 2 on the I've got something to fix that. So if you fire it with the butt pad on my back, it might push everything forward of me again. But no, there wasn't a huge amount of interest on the camera. I'll try and remember to grab it for next week. Maybe we should have like because I know some of you guys aren't like tech nerds like I am. I could geek out over technology all day long, but I'll make sure I'll grab the camera for next week, and we'll talk about that, and I'll show you some of the gear. Maybe would you guys be interested in a video? I can show you all the equipment that I use, and I can we have dedicated sort of like gunroom TV stuff, and nothing's really dedicated, but there's stuff that just is sort of used for gunroom TV, and there's stuff that is used for English shooting. So Callum's big load fund. Oh no. Oh, what have I become? I've become but a whore. Yes, if you guys would be interested in me doing like a full kit video, I'll do that. But I just always think I would love to. I'm all game, but I know there's a lot of people out there be going, "There's no gun. Why is there no gun in the video? Show me the gun." But yeah, I'll show you the C100 next week. Something to look forward to. Maybe a gun. Oh yeah, YouTube can't show a gun. So 85 gram. What? No, don't do it, please. But yeah, was there anything else I needed to talk about other than the gun control network? Can go and do one. There will be a video just for Callum's lead pencil. I'll have you know, there's plenty of lead in this pencil. It's a mechanical one because I'm a nerd. Look, lead. There we go. Now I've got funds for some more. You do know, guys. There's now an expectation. This has to continue every single week. It's the only way. If I need to start stripping, I will. But don't let it come to that. I'm warning you now. So some of you might have seen. Actually, this is probably something just to make you guys aware of. So the Gun Control Network, an absolute farcical organisation, if you ask me. Basically, it's illusions of grandeur. It's this one lady that thinks she's going to change the world, and it's her on her lonesome. But they basically what they took was Sean O'Neill's second-rate article about practical shooting. And she sort of, I don't know, like a bird would regurgitate food to their young, sort of bleh! And then the Gun Control Network basically released the same thing as Sean O'Neill, and it's just, what was it? What was the phrase? Oh, that's right. They're not assault rifles anymore. They're not high-capacity rifles anymore. They're now mass casualty weapons. That's it. A 2.2 semi-automatic AR-15 style rifle is apparently a mass casualty weapon. So anyway, I've got a full video coming out of that, but there's I haven't shared it yet on English Shooting. But if you want to go onto the Gun Control Network. Jesus Christ, you guys. Callum's sausage fund. I mean, back in school, I got insulted all the time. At least now I'm getting paid for it. There we go. Like, long may it continue, I guess. But sausage fund. Yeah, that basically, if you go, it's like if you Google gun control network. Here's a funny thing to keep an eye out. It's something as a side project. Alex just happens to own the domain guncontrolnetwork.com, so you can guess what's going to be going up on there in short time. But anyway, I think it's guncontrolnetwork.co.uk or .org or something like that, but there will be something up on .com very shortly. But yeah, Google gun control network and it will come up, and look at their like recent news, recent articles, and they've taken another pop shot at mass casualty weapons and how dare these things still be available in the UK, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And the last thing that might be interested to you guys, because that was an itch by the guy with the way that was an itch. I swear that was an itch. I'm not performing for you guys. I know that a lot of you want to keep tabs on what organizations are up to, what they're doing, what they're planning, and NABIS has released their annual report, so it goes over all of their finances, like victories and all that. It's worth a read. But yeah, if you saw the post today, NABIS is of course the organization that pretty much got lever release and Mars YouTube's gonna ban you guys. I can see it happening. The sausage stuffer. Where is this going? Like, this is only the second week. We're already at this. Thank you, Richard. Like, I still can't not say thank you to you guys. Oh my god, it's not Pepsi, it's some water. Healthy, right? But yeah, the NABIS was responsible basically for banning lever release and Mars. Fun factoid: it was Mark Gruthius of NABIS, who used to be the head of Hampshire Firearms, who was the person that I went against. Well, he was the person that took away my licenses. He was the one that actually said to the Parliament committee or whatever it was during the consultation that 50 cals had an effective range of 6 miles, right? And bearing in mind what NABIS stands for, it's the National Ballistics Institute or something like that, right? They are meant to be like the government foremost expert on firearms, the forensics of firearms, and ballistics, right? And they think that a 50 cal has can be accurate, an effective range, and an accurate over 6 miles. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's the danger of an organization like this if they're not kept in check. And actually saying that, Basque did do a very good job of sort of bringing that point up, just maybe a bit later than they should have. But yeah, NABIS is basically there. That obviously they view guns as bad. Unfortunately they are ball lube and rod cleaner. It's fine, I've got mag lube. I'm good for lube. We've got plenty. We've got buckets of the stuff. I have to milk Connors every morning. He gets very full otherwise. And I've got very supple little hands. He likes it. But that's where mag lube comes from. So buying a bottle of mag lube is buying a bottle of Connors. True story. But yeah, so again, thanks guys. I do appreciate it. I'm taking the piss out of you guys, but you're helping the channel. We're almost there. Only something like £950 now. I don't know. That was me doing maths, by the way. But yeah, so NABIS is one to watch out for. Unfortunately, it's an organisation where all of the people within it, they spend day to day looking at guns and crime, and I can understand why in that environment you're just going to instantly say, oh, all guns should be bad, because your only experience from day to day is looking at the bad things that guns do. However, you would expect the National Ballistics Institute, or whatever that acronym stands for. Actually, let's have a I'm going to be educational and precise for you. Let's have a look what NABIS actually stands for. It's the National Ballistic Intelligence Service. Where'd they get the A from? Why not like NABIS? Just made up an A. This is why I have a problem with words, because you say NABIS and that's an acronym. I'll be looking for something what the A stands for. Well, apparently it's just anyway. National Ballistic. I've forgotten it. I've already forgotten it. This is not going well. National Ballistic Intelligence Service. So you would think an organisation that's called the National Ballistics Intelligence Service would actually know the effective range of a 50 cal, right? You know, I mean, it does bring into question an error so grand as that, whether it was deliberate. But of course, we will never know. Please tell me they have a Facebook group so I can annoy them. Oh, there's loads of anti-groups. You don't need to just find... I mean, you know, the gun control network is so backwards, Paul. Like, they haven't even heard of Facebook yet. You know, they are still very much living in 1996. So, yeah, but there's plenty of anti-gun groups. That's for sure. That you can go and annoy. I mean, I agree. That's why basically English Shooting has a Twitter account, right? Every now and then I go and get bored and I just pick fights with people on Twitter. Not physical fights, of course. I'm not violent. I'm a very loving, caring person. But if I'm bored and I want to go and educate some people, I go into Twitter and I type in UK guns. And I swear, like, I promise you, if you go and do this now, you type in UK guns, it will, like, every other post will be something about a UK Guns N' Roses tribute tour. But you scroll through all of that and you'll find people going, guns are banned in the UK. Waha, game on. No, they're not. Yes, they are. You don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. And it's, you know, it goes back and forth, and usually you get some absolute gems, you know. And then if you really want to push them over the edge, you send a photo of your collection, and it just, oh, that's an American. You know, yeah. Look at this newspaper from the UK next to all the guns. Sounds like a hostage situation. But yeah, if you want to have some fun with people, Paul, go onto Twitter and type in UK guns banned or something like that, and it'll keep you entertained for hours. And that's why English Shooting doesn't post that much on Twitter, because I can't go on Twitter and not do that. So I just sort of, you know, it's not healthy. I've got far better things to be doing than picking fights with troglodytes on Twitter. Well, I don't usually give out endorsements, not just like that, but as you asked so nicely, everyone at the Cardiff University Rifle Club, vote for Alison. And do you want it like? Are you gonna like snip this out of the video? Is that what you want? You want it to be like all official, and you know you're just going to play me on repeat as part of your campaign? I couldn't think of anything worse. You're definitely going to lose some votes there, but should I do that? Should I do that again? Everyone at Cardiff University Rifle Club, vote for Alison and Ryan for your committee. I do not endorse this message. I don't know you. You could, like, I can't. Might be a really bad thing. But I got a lot of time for Cardiff. My girlfriend studied at. No, it wasn't Cardiff University. That would be an easy one. It was the music college, Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama or something like that. She's going to kill me for not knowing that. But yeah, I spent our first year of our relationship. We were I was up Cardiff all the time. Lovely place. So if I'm up there, you know, and you want to accommodate some range shooting, I'll be more than happy to drop by. Do you see how I just snuck that invite in there for myself? I'll join you on the campaign. There we go. Would that suit you? Would that be good? Come up and help you do your campaign. You'll lose votes. I could guarantee it. Yeah, Volt, National Ballistic Intelligence Service. They don't sound very intelligent. Here's an interesting factoid. well, if you go and read the 2019 review, you'll know it. But so this organisation that's meant to be, you know, almighty and all powerful and all that, their budget is only £3 million a year, and I can't see what intelligence they're, you know, necessarily gathering, or how expert they may be, and certainly with facts like 50 cals have an effective range of 6 miles. You know, £3 million. That's, I mean, you know, I've worked in areas with government and police money, and you know, £3 million is like nothing. You know, it's like, oh, there you go, just have some money and leave us alone. I don't, night out in Cardiff, 6.90. Wait, is that six, like, no, I'm not even going to go there. This is degraded too far, but thank you once again, Carl. I said I was going to go nearly like an hour ago, but you guys kept giving me money, and I just feel obliged to stay here. You know, I think my hourly rate is something like £7 an hour. So if that carries on going, you know, no, £7 an hour. No, that's what I was paid when I was like 16. Minimum wage is more than that. What's minimum wage? Do it for that. There we go. Say £10 an hour. £10 an hour. I'll stay here all night. Oh God, no, I do need to go home. Bad intelligence. Yeah, so Richard hailing Sir Geoffrey Clifton Brown for his amendments to the Offensive Weapons Bill. I mean, hail to the 50 cal society. You know, you want to talk about what good a small organisation can do, and I don't mean to like undersell them, but you know, there's in realism, there's not that many 50 cal shooters out there, and they are a fairly small organisation overall. It was because of them that we still have 50 cals. I mean, you know, you would think that they would fight something that their whole organisation is based upon, you know, very, very fiercely. But it does bring into question when an organisation with comparatively little resource, little funding, can achieve more than the NRA and BASC put together. Now that does really start asking some worrying questions, doesn't it? But yeah, so you know, yes, there was somebody that actually went and changed that and put that amendment in there. Props to them. But for me, like, the majority of my respect has to go to the 50 cal society, because what they managed to do with what they have is absolutely staggering, and I do think it puts the other organisations to shame. Another hour, really? 8.72 is the minimum wage. Well, I'm beating the 8.72 now. Not another hour. But Nick, you can leave any time. Like, I'm not forcing anyone to be here. Numbers drop. Well, BASC, you say BASC did FA for the 50 cal ban. They did go to the consultation. They were there. They did counterpoints like the 6 mile effectiveness of a 50 cal. They did something. They just didn't do as much as probably what people were expecting them to. It was sort of like, you know, any moment, BASC, like, you're gonna step in here, and there's the, like, you know, David and Goliath, the 50 cal versus Nabis, you know, and BASC sort of, yeah, that was wrong. There we go. We did our bit. Yeah, let's go. Yes, thank you, Carl, for another hour. I might have to refund that one, because I do need to go home at some point. And for sure, if you're around, you can come shoot with us. Drop me an email. Like, we might be able to hook something up. Daniel's based in Cardiff as well, so we can. Well, Daniel, it's a university. Unless you want to go to university. Did you ever go to university, Daniel? I don't actually know that. I was going to say, you know, if you want to go back to university, but I don't know if you ever did go there, or did you just go straight into the family business? Glasses, not that sort of business. So yeah, I'd love to. Like, if it's within, you know, if it all works, if it, you know, we can sort something out, I can come and spend some time with the lovely Smerald. Then we can come over to your rifle club, and you know, I can help you on the campaign to victory if you'd like. Again, I will lose you votes. I don't know why you'd invite me. I will annoy people. It will happen. What? To go home? Carl, how much? I mean, I know Richard's been pretty active again this evening, but whatever you do for a job, like let me know, because I want to be able to like spunk money on YouTubers like this. But as I keep saying, no, it's not going to go on my FAC. No, it's not going to go on my teapot or lube or my sausage collection of whatever you guys were saying. It will all go to the camera fund. I need to, like, that's it. I need to go full, like, what is it? My Free Cams, where they have, like, the girls will have like charts in the background. I need like one of those like big thermometers, and if we reach the top, don't know, I have to think of something special, right? It's like, you know, it's like the church roof fund. Maybe that would have been a better. Why did I instantly jump to the cam girl analogy rather than the church roof? I think that says a lot about me, if I'm going to be honest. Mainly that I'm not actually religious, and perhaps my internet history, but it's neither here nor there. Alex Barnes, Cardiff is a fun night out. Had many a night out in Cardiff. Absolutely love it. The people, I love the Welsh. Like genuinely, every time I hear the Welsh accent, it brings a little joy to me. Not in that way, and they're like so cheery and nice. I just, like, you go anywhere else, I'm sure I'm just gonna insult the rest of the UK here. But in my experience, like, you just, apart from when you're wearing an England shirt during a rugby match day, then it gets a little bit aggressive. But like, you just always feel welcomed in Cardiff. Like, they're happy that you visited. Like, you know, if I could do a Welsh accent, I would. But, you know, they're just like, you know, thank you for coming. Please stay, please. No, I love Cardiff. Cardiff's a good place. If you so I don't know how to pronounce your username. Marmudix. I'm gonna stop there, but you know who you are. If you genuinely like wanna have like a video clip or whatever, and it's gonna help your campaign, drop me a message. Again, EnglishShooting@gmail.com. Next time I have the camera set up for whatever, I can do a little bit for you. Like if you want to give me a little script as well, do that. And I'll have a shave. I'll look neater, because I know that, like, once, like, I have two screens when I'm doing this. I can't show you guys obviously because it's on the laptop, but I have one screen which is my, like, the studio setup, and that's what's taking the initial feed into the camera. And then I have a secondary screen which is on the same delay that you guys are experiencing me on, and that's like the YouTube, and the quality is significantly different because YouTube just downgrades everything and whatever. So yeah, if you want a higher quality soundbite or whatever, just let me know. Again, drop an email to EnglishShooting@gmail.com, and I'll see what I can do. Alex Barnes, are UK citizens allowed to own Lee Enfields? Yes. Any caliber bolt action rifle legal here in the UK. That deserves a bit of cleavage for sure. That's for the private show afterwards. I forgot to tell you guys, anyone that donates gets access to a private show afterwards, and you know, I change into a different outfit, I bring out some toys, dim the lights a little bit, But that's only for the English shooting VIP. Only fans. There we go. But M Gabriel's off, so night M Gabriel. You did invite me to the island game. I can't remember why I wasn't why I didn't end up going, unfortunately. But I do that. I've never been to a match in Cardiff. It's on my bucket list, like seriously, like full blown bucket list. I want to do it because the atmosphere around the streets during a rugby game in Cardiff is just electric, absolutely incredible. And I can only imagine what it's like in the stadium. So but yeah, would more than love to go to a Six Nations. Ireland versus England would be incredible. Yeah, we'll see what we can make happen. Well, I'm glad I could help out. But again, email me if you want to. Otherwise, this will be available. Like, if you're having any problems downloading it, you might know how to do it all. But as soon as this stream ends, you'll be able to download the video. There's various downloaders you can use, but it will be uploaded as a video, and you can snip it out as you want. But I am seeing as, oh dear. Well, I was just about to say I was going to go because Carl paid me to go home, but now I'm conflicted because that's ridiculous. What do you do, Carl? Like, I know it's a drug dealer. That's and Carl, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but Carl actually dropped me an email after the stream last week, right? And I said, let me send you out a goodie bag. Let me know your address and all that, and he didn't want anything. Like, that's what, like, seriously, Carl, you can't, I have to know what you do. You should at least tickle. Like, what do I do you really want me to have to strip on the stream? David, Carl I think has hit you up. Carl was one of the people last week that you offered a shooting package to. At this rate, you'll be going for free. Yeah, Carl, I should create an Amazon wish list and just have the camera on there, and then but Carl wants to get his money's worth. He wants me to work for it. I don't mind that. I'll happily do this. It's probably like the best hourly rate I've ever been on. English shooting should come to the States and shoot your Bren gun. I completely agree. We can make that happen. Definitely. If you want to be yes, you did. That's fair, Carl. You did ask for a day shooting, but that was sort of included anyway. Like, it wasn't a one or the other. And after today, you can pretty much have anything you want. So you can leave your hat on. Oh, it's not going to be English shooting anymore. It's going to be English stripping. There we go. Yeah, and Carl, I definitely owe you some beers out in the States and some ammo and whatever. But yeah, you are certainly welcome. I told you, you've already got a spot on the whatever I decide to do after the lockdown. I will more than make it up for you. That's for certain. Petition for Callum to get a CK pair of boxes with boxes whatever Carl likes. Tech Gaming can have my goodie bag. Yep, fine. That's for you to do, Carl. That's absolutely awesome. So yeah, Tech Gaming 45. You want to drop me an email at EnglishShooting@gmail.com. I will send you Carl's in lieu goodie bag. You seem very evasive. Like, you haven't acknowledged what you actually do. I really want to know what you do for a job. And I know it's going to come. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Just, God, that's mental. I was going to say I'm going to have to at least sit here until the timer times out on the donation, but like, how long is a £100 gonna sit there for? I mean, I can still see there's loads of you guys, like, you obviously have nothing better to do, so let's sit here and chat. I don't mind. I do need some sleep though. So Alex, I don't know. So Alex Barnes, I don't know if I'd love to be able to take absolutely everyone down the range, but we are limited to 5 spaces for like an after lockdown range day. Carl and Richard, who have been incredible sort of donators over the last couple of weeks. Like, I honestly don't know what to say. Obviously, apart from, thank you guys very, very much, and I don't want to sort of overlook all the smaller donations as well. From like, seriously, every single penny, every pound. I'm very, very close now to the camera, or being able to justify getting it. So, yeah, no, I really do appreciate it. Like, honestly, it's absolutely awesome. But Carl, you're a nutter. You make an honest living. I think maybe your definition of honest and my definition of honest might be a bit different, but that's I know you said last week that you were that's right, you said you had a bit of spare cash because of lockdown. I like your definition of a bit of spare cash. That's, anyway, I can't complain. It's like I'm like trying to defend you. I don't know why. It's like I'm not forcing you. But again, very much appreciate it. Carl is OnlyFans superfan. Yeah, if I do ever start an OnlyFans page, God knows why. If it gets to that in that stage in life, I'm either doing something incredibly right or very, very wrong. But yeah. Richard and Carl, you already have membership, absolutely. So yeah, should we talk about guns rather than me sexually exploiting myself online for money? Email en route, cool. I'll keep an eye out for it. I know there's a couple of people that have already emailed through. It does pop up. That's why I look distracted every now and then. Just like, pop up on the screen. So, damn it, was going to donate, say thank you. It says not available in your region. Back home right now, not in the UK. Ah, okay. That's a shame. I don't know. Can mail it to me? I don't have a PO box, but anyway, the thought is what counts. So no, thank you very much anyway. Callum should stay till midnight now. I've got things I need to do. I've got a channel to run. I've got videos to make. I've got sleep that needs sleeping. Yes, David. Yes, there was a very keen fan. He never. I don't think he ever gave me money though, which probably would have made it weirder. But yes, I think Carl's getting. I mean, Richard has tried to keep up tonight, but Carl's just gone. He's stuck it into overdrive. It's going to take a while to knock Carl off the top spot. OnlyFans will not allow content with firearms. That's a shame. I can't do my special VIP thing afterwards. Shall we talk about some? I just feel like I've literally just sat here for an hour talking. Yeah, well, that's pretty normal actually. But should we talk about guns? Do you want to talk about guns? No, it is a gun channel. I do feel obliged to stay here for longer. I am very tired though. I did the review. I've gone blank. I'm still genuinely in shock. Like, I keep looking up at the £100 and it's like, I honestly don't know what to say. But yeah, I think did I tell you guys last week about the Tipman? We had a chance to take the Tipman out to review that. So yeah, I think we already talked about that. So that's not anything new or exciting. Holsters. I don't have my holster to hand, unfortunately. I have a what is it? Oh, it's an enclosed. Like, I have literally like the worst holster for IPSC. Well, I suppose it would actually be legal for what, production or standard? No, production, I think. But my, like, it's not, certainly not one of these speed holsters that I use. But I've got so used to it. Like, I don't think I'm actually too much slower than somebody using one of the speed holsters, because I've just got, it's just muscle memory. I've done it so many times, and I've used it, you know, used it out of the States, used it out in Nizza, I use it for Action Air, used it out in Prague. You know, I know that holster like backwards, inside and out, but I can't tell you what it is. I can't remember. David might know, if David's still here. The holster that I bought out, well, Alex bought for us in Utah. So I don't think it's a Serpa. I'm pretty sure, David, it was you that linked it to me. It was, and you said that the PPQ is made for it. If you can remember who it is. Unfortunately, my holster setup is over in the studio, because that's where the point blank simulator range was set up. Well, it's still set up. So it's over there, unfortunately. But I know David will know what it is. I just cannot remember what it is. Safariland, there we go. So it's a Safariland holster, but it's an enclosed one. It's got a little lever on the back. What do I? Yeah, you flick this little lever with your middle finger, and it releases the gun. And I really like it. It's done me very, very well. Very indestructible. 3-gun is so weird in the UK. Can't imagine drawing a pistol with a long barrel out the back. Well, it doesn't actually. It doesn't matter a whole amount with speed holsters, because you have nothing over the front. You draw it out front ways, rather. Well, you know, I suppose there's maybe a little bit of upwards, but it's not. You know, the speed holsters. Does Connors have his in here? No, I don't think he does, unfortunately. But they're more just like blocks. They don't surround or cover the gun at all, and for that you don't notice a difference. You can use it for a standard gun or a long barrel pistol. Obviously, anything that's enclosed around the front, you're not going to be able to use a long barrel pistol, because you're going to have to pull it like right up to here before you can get it out of the holster. Alex Barnes, I have a CCW concealed permit in the US. That's I know, it's, let's not talk about self-defense, shall we? Let's move on swiftly. The NRL 2-2 is hopefully coming to 7-side when I and Richard get together and organise these matches. I have barricade, steel and more for it. Awesome, looking forward to that. I like 7-side. If you guys don't know, well, if you know the UK, I'm talking about Wales and all that, the 7-side bridge, on the Welsh side, as you come over into Wales, if you look to your left as you come over the bridge, there's a range, and that's actually Daniel's local club. KFC has shot there a few times. I can't remember if I've made a video down there. If you guys have ever seen me shooting Daniel's Delisle in any clips, I know there's a couple of clips floating about, or even shooting his Desert Tech, that was all down at 7-side. But I don't think I've ever made a specific video down there. But it's a really cool open range. Pretty much anything goes, and your backstop is the sea. You can actually see like ships and boats going past as you're shooting. It's really cool. And obviously the bridge pretty cool as well. Safariland is good to go. If you use Serpa, I'd need to get the Pope to banish you. Well, inadvertently, I have good taste through David's good taste, because he was the one that recommended the holster, and it was bloody good. Like, it's seen. I mean, that was 2 years ago, and the holster's still great. And it also fits Glock. So I don't know if it's meant to, but it works with my Glock Action Air. So I can use it for Action Air with the Glock, and then the PPQ, or even a real Glock. Maybe, because I know sometimes the Airsoft Glocks are slightly different dimensions. So they, perhaps the reason that my Action Air Glock fits is because it's different and makes it more like the PPQ. I don't know. Don't think. Have I tried a Glock in it? A real Glock? I don't know. We've got a blank fire. I might try the blank fire in it and see if that works. I think we're doing the night shoot again in August in Sevenside. Sign me up. And this time I will. Have I got anything in August? Don't think so, apart from my birthday. It's my birthday in August. Sign me up for 2 days if you do for 2 days, because last time I joined you in the morning, but I'm well up for camping. As long as Daniel's there to join me, of course. But I'm after seeing the footage of the night shoot at Sevenside, I really annoyed I missed it. But I think I was actually filming at another event. Can't remember what it was, but there was some good reason I couldn't come. Airsoft Glock, why? Because I'm weird. Because I like Glocks. I just get on with Glocks. Glock was the first handgun that I shot, and it sort of spiraled from there. And also the PPQ, whilst it doesn't have the same grip angle as the Glock, it's definitely not 1911. Why am I doing that? 1911 grip isn't like that. It's not 1911. It's somewhere in between. So I find switching between the PPQ, which I find like the perfect gun for me. The ergonomics are great. I shoot really well with it, and again, I've shot a lot with it, so I've got a lot of good muscle memory with it. But I find switching between Glock and PPQ really, really easy. And my methodology with shooting an Action Air Glock is training here in the UK. So you can't get an Action Air PPQ, otherwise I would be shooting that. So every shooting that I do, I want it to, as best as possible, complement all of the other stuff I do. So if I'm shooting Action Air with a 1911, that's not going to transfer very well to me shooting a Walther PPQ out in the States. And also, once I get my licenses, I'm getting the long barrel pistol Walther PPQ, like 100%. So, my long barrel pistol gun will be a Walther PPQ. Sort of my international, my American gun, because there's one out there for us, is a Walther PPQ. When we went to Prague, it was a PPQ. And it's like, okay, I can't get a PPQ for Action Air, but I can get a Glock, which for me is very, very similar in the way that it shoots and the grip angle. And that's why I prefer it. I'm not a 1911 guy. Of course, if I was able to, if we were able to in the UK, I would have one, because it's you've got to have a 1911 in the collection, or even a 2011 for competition. But 1911s don't do it for me. Like I know, sacrilege, I know, like I'm gonna watch views and subscribers fall from that. 1911s don't do it for me. Yes, I know the first long barrel pistol I bought was a 1911, but that was before the PPQ was available, before the Glock LBP, and the other reason is the reason I train with the Action Air Glock and also the PPQ is because they're similar. If I can't get a PPQ out in the States, or I can't get a PPQ out wherever I'm shooting, you can always get a Glock. Always. You can't always go and get a competition 1911 or 2011, right? And it's for me, I know that unfortunately I'm not at the point in my life or career where I can afford to fund regular competition trips out to the US. So I sort of have to make the most of what shooting becomes available when I go internationally. And to make the most of that competitively, I need to make sure I'm as proficient with that platform as possible and as used to it. And for me, by shooting a Glock Action Air, it means that I can go and pick up a Glock, anywhere in the world, which is easy to do, and shoot with it. So, you know, that's my explanation. And I'm just one of those weird people that happens to like Glock, that gets on with it, that I tend to shoot well with it. And Connor's finally got this, actually, because he never understood it. And what were we doing? That's right, we were using the SIRT pistols. Again, another example of just the dominance of Glock. So SIRT laser training pistols for the point blank simulator. And Connor's we were using that like a stupid amount of time. And he sort of came away and he's like, he picked up his 1911 and he's like, this feels wrong. He's like, I've now got the sort of the Glock muscle memory. And I was like, and that's what happens to me. I pick up a 1911, it just feels weird, and I pick up a Glock and it feels right. And that's all I can really say to it. You know, that's it. Don't hate me. I know probably most of you disagree with me. I just prefer it. 1911 is superior platform. I don't deny it's superior. I don't deny they're better made. I don't deny that they're potentially more reliable, that they're better for this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, like the top shooters out there shoot on average like a 2011 or a 1911. You know, when we went to Utah and we trained with the Williams sisters and Glenn Wong, you know, I mean, the Williams sisters are, well, I think one it was Justine and Jalise, and I can't remember which one of them, but one of them has won like the US ladies division, right? You know, they're serious. Those three, Glenn Wong and the Williams sisters, serious top level shooters, and they were all running STI 1911s or 2011s, right? Like, I get it. Like, they're the best gun. I have more fun shooting a Glock. I'm weird. Don't hate me for it. Someone saying you can get an Action Air PPQ. I've heard this before. Like, people have said it before. Actually tracking one down and finding one. Like, and I mean, we've got accounts with some of the largest sort of wholesalers in terms of Airsoft and Action Air, and I think even them have said, yeah, they're available. When it comes to actually getting one, you can't get hold of them. So, you know, if there is one out there and it's good. The other thing about like the WEs and the Glock that I have is that they are very, very upgradable. They are very serviceable as well. They're sort of made to be taken apart and upgraded and have bits added to them. If there is a PPQ Action Air gun out there, as long as you can still play around with the hopper rubbers and the barrels and stuff like that, then I'd consider switching to it. But I like my Glock. Leave me and my Glock alone, right? Just because I have bad taste, all right? Right, I've been watching this £100 timer going down, and it's taking far too long. I'm really sorry, Carl. I am desperate for a wee. I've had 2 cans of Coke and a bottle of water. It's been almost 3.5 hours. But again, I cannot thank you guys enough for all of the donations, all of the support, for all of you guys even just joining in and keeping the conversation going. This is just serious. I had to do a double take then, like nearly 3.5 hours. It's just flown by, and that's because you're all amazing. Like, honestly, I really genuinely enjoy doing these chats. I hope you do. And, you know, as I say, we do them. Oh, it's gone. Did you like disable it? That's really odd. Did you just disable it, Carl? Okay. Didn't know it was a timer. It's not like a timer. It's not like, you know, there's someone off screen with a gun to my head saying, like, if you don't stay here, like, I'm going to shoot you. Please don't shoot me. But yeah, no, that's fine. I didn't mind it being there, but my bladder is going to explode. So yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. And again, it's a weekly thing. We're going to keep on doing it. I think it's been weekly enough now for me to say this is a regular thing. It will continue. We will be at some point back in the gun room with Connors, with Alex running it, so it won't be down to my technical inabilities. But there will be guns again. I am conflicted whether to go back to Facebook, but we can't handle guns on YouTube. We will make a decision, or I might end up having to do both. We'll see. We'll sort something out. But again, I really do appreciate it. Again, thank you everyone for the donations. Loads of videos coming out soon. I think there's 2 pre-scheduled to go out. I've got 2 that have just been uploaded and will be scheduled shortly, and I've got like 3 or 4 in edit, so just been churning them out. I know I used to always say 1 video a week. Well, I've been consistently doing 2 videos a week for the last week, and it might be even like 3 videos a week because the videos are piling up, which is a nice problem to have. So yeah, keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, what you're doing here, please hit subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button, it really does help. But I will call it a night there. Again, thank you everyone for joining, and as always, hope to see you soon, guys.